Some secrets of the past refuse to stay buried. Colossal statues, lost cities, and mysterious relics challenge everything we know about history. Who built them, how, and what knowledge disappeared with them? Join us as we uncover 25 astonishing discoveries, each one stranger than the last. Hit subscribe because these mysteries aren't just history, they're puzzles waiting to be solved. The Whispering Obelisk of Naka. In the sun-scorched plains of Sudan, where the sands stretch endlessly and the horizon blurs into heat waves, the ancient city of Naka rises from obscurity. Once a flourishing center of the kingdom of Kush, Naka was a hub of trade, religion, and monumental art. Among its ruins, partially eroded by wind in centuries of time, stands an extraordinary monument, the Whispering Obelisk of Naka. Unlike ordinary obelisks, this towering stone is not merely a symbol of power or devotion. Carved from a single massive block of sandstone, its surface is etched with intricate hieroglyphs and reliefs that capture both the daily life and spiritual beliefs of the Kushite civilization. The obelisk's proportions are monumental, yet precise, tapering elegantly as it reaches skyward, as if attempting to bridge the human and the divine. Standing before it, one is immediately struck by a sense of awe, not just at its size, but at the mystery it seems to carry. The moniker Whispering Obelisk comes not from legend alone, but from experience. Visitors and researchers report that when the wind passes across its carved surfaces and the surrounding ruins, the stone seems to carry a resonance, faint echoes, a murmur of something long forgotten. Scholars have debated whether this was intentional, part of the Kushites' understanding of sound, ceremony, and environment, or simply a quirk of the stone. Yet the effect is undeniable. The obelisk seems alive, as if it communicates with the living, whispering secrets of the past across millennia. Naka itself was more than a city, it was a center of spiritual and cultural convergence. The Kushites were deeply influenced by both indigenous beliefs and neighboring Egyptian traditions, blending architectural styles, iconography, and ritual practices into something uniquely their own. The obelisk sits at the heart of this network, its carvings depicting sacred rituals, divine figures, and symbols of authority. Every line, every image, tells a story. Stories of kings, priests, and ordinary people, all connected to the monumental presence that rises above them. The scale and craftsmanship of the Whispering Obelisk suggest remarkable technical skill. Moving, erecting, and carving such a massive stone would have required not just physical labor, but sophisticated knowledge of leverage, geometry, and social organization. Its very existence challenges assumptions about what societies in this region could achieve more than 2,000 years ago. Yet the obelisk does not scream its power. It hums, whispering, inviting the observer to look closer, to listen, and to wonder. The inscriptions themselves add layers of intrigue. Stylized depictions of animals, deities, and abstract symbols cover the surface, some of which remain undeciphered. Scholars have proposed that certain patterns may align with astronomical cycles, while others may encode spiritual or ritualistic knowledge. The obelisk may have functioned as a ceremonial marker, a calendar, or even a teaching tool for initiates in the sacred knowledge of the Kushite priesthood. Its meaning is multidimensional, blending art, science, and faith into a single monumental form. Local folklore adds another layer of mystery. Nomadic tribes and villagers recount tales of the obelisk, whispering warnings or guidance during stormy nights, as though the spirits of the Kushite priests or kings still linger nearby. While skeptics attribute this to acoustics and imagination, the persistence of such stories underscores the figure's enduring presence in the human psyche. It is not merely a relic, it is a living monument in memory and myth. The obelisk's location is no accident. Positioned within a complex of temples, altars, and ceremonial courtyards, it was deliberately placed to maximize visual impact and spiritual authority. From its base, one can see pathways that may have guided processions, plazas where rituals were performed, and surrounding hills that provide vantage points for observation and reflection. It commands both the landscape and the attention of anyone who approaches, creating an atmosphere of reverence and mystery. Over the centuries, the Whispering Obelisk has faced the ravages of nature and time. Sandstorms, erosion, and earthquakes have altered its surface, yet these changes have only deepened its aura. Cracks, weathering, and moss imbue it with a sense of age and endurance, reminding observers that true monuments do not merely survive, they grow into their environment, becoming part of the landscape itself. Modern technology has enabled archaeologists to study the obelisk in unprecedented detail. Laser scanning, 3D reconstruction, and acoustic analysis reveal subtleties that were invisible to the naked eye. Researchers have discovered hidden carvings, precise alignments, and structural nuances that hint at the Kushites' sophisticated understanding of art, engineering, and perhaps even the properties of sound. Every discovery amplifies the sense of awe. suggesting that the obelisk was more than a visual monument. It was an interactive, multi-sensory creation designed to communicate across space and time. Visitors today describe an almost spiritual experience when approaching the obelisk. Amid the silence of the desert and the shadows of surrounding ruins, the statue seems to resonate with the pulse of history. Its presence evokes questions that archaeology alone cannot answer. Who commissioned this? What rituals unfolded here? And what knowledge did the Kushites possess that has been lost to the ages? The Whispering Obelisk of Naka is more than a stone monument. It is a testament to human ingenuity, artistic mastery, and the enduring desire to reach beyond the ordinary. Its silent whispers challenge us to rethink the capabilities of ancient civilizations, to consider the knowledge they held, and to marvel at the mysteries that survive long after empires have fallen. Standing beneath the towering stone, one is struck by a singular realization. History is never as simple as it seems. Every line carved, every symbol etched, every whisper carried by the wind is a reminder that the past is alive. If only we have the patience to listen. The obelisk endures, silently guarding the secrets of Naka, calling to all who seek to uncover the impossible, and reminding us that even the smallest whisper can carry the weight of centuries. The forgotten glyphs of El Mirador. Deep within the dense jungles of northern Guatemala lies El Mirador, one of the most enigmatic and monumental cities of the ancient Maya civilization. Once a thriving hub of culture, politics, and religion, El Mirador is now reclaimed by towering trees, vines, and the slow, steady growth of the jungle. Hidden within its sprawling ruins, along the walls of massive structures and temple complexes, lie carvings that have long captivated archaeologists, the forgotten glyphs of El Mirador. These glyphs are not mere decorations. Each one is an intricate story etched into stone, a snapshot of Maya knowledge, mythology, and power. Unlike smaller, more common inscriptions found at other Maya sites, the glyph walls of El Mirador are monumental, their scale, precision, and detail suggesting that they were created for more than record-keeping. They were designed to awe, to instruct, and perhaps to communicate with the heavens themselves. Walking among the ruins, one immediately senses the scale of ambition that went into these carvings. Entire walls are covered in glyphs depicting gods, rulers, celestial events, and sacred rituals. Some glyphs remain fully decipherable, revealing the names of kings, dynastic events, or ceremonial practices. Others are worn, damaged by centuries of weather and the relentless encroachment of the jungle, leaving tantalizing mysteries in their place. These forgotten glyphs whisper secrets we may never fully understand, stories buried not just by time, but by the sheer weight of history itself. El Mirador was more than a city, it was a statement of Maya power and sophistication. Its plazas, pyramids, and causeways were monumental achievements, and the glyph walls reinforced this vision. The scale of the carvings, some towering over 10 feet high, suggests that they were intended to impress both the living and the gods. They acted as an interface between the human world and the divine, encoding complex ideas of cosmology, spirituality, and political authority into stone. The craftsmanship of the glyphs is staggering. Each symbol is carved with meticulous precision, reflecting deep knowledge of proportion, composition, and symbolism. Animals, deities, rulers, and abstract forms interweave in complex patterns, creating layers of meaning that could be read visually, ritually, and perhaps even astronomically. Some scholars suggest that certain sequences correspond to celestial cycles or agricultural calendars, turning the walls themselves into tools of observation and prediction. Local legends and modern Maya oral traditions hint at the enduring significance of these glyphs. Elders speak of walls that remember, describing carvings that carry voices from the past, echoing warnings, prayers, or guidance across generations. While these accounts are metaphorical, they underscore the sense of mystery that surrounds the forgotten glyphs, a reminder that these walls were meant to convey more than words alone. Archaeological studies have revealed subtle clues about how the glyphs were used and perceived. The orientation of walls, the positioning of symbols, and the sequencing of inscriptions suggest a deliberate plan, a sophisticated integration of architecture, art, and ritual. Viewing the glyphs was likely an experience as much spiritual as intellectual. A participant could read the stories, feel the presence of ancestors, and witness the divine encoded in stone. The environmental context adds to the intrigue. The jungle, which now obscures much of El Mirador, would once have been a deliberate backdrop for the city and its monumental inscriptions. Approaching the glyph walls through narrow causeways, visitors would have been guided in ritual procession, experiencing the carvings gradually, their scale and complexity revealing themselves in stages. Nature and art work together to create an immersive, awe-inspiring environment, a reminder that the Maya understood not just construction, but psychological and sensory impact. Many glyphs remain undeciphered, their meanings lost to time. These fragments of knowledge ignite curiosity and debate among archaeologists. Some suggest hidden historical events, lost myths, or esoteric religious teachings. Others believe the walls encode astronomical observations, calendrical knowledge, or mathematical principles still unrecognized by modern science. Each glyph is a doorway, a whisper, a challenge, urging us to rethink what we know about the Maya and the sophistication of their civilization. The forgotten glyphs also tell a story of preservation and survival. Centuries of abandonment, jungle growth, and environmental change could have destroyed them entirely, yet these carvings endure, partially hidden, partially revealed, waiting for those curious and patient enough to study them. They stand as a testament to human creativity and the desire to communicate across time, a conversation that begins in the stone and continues with every observer who dares to listen. Visitors to El Mirador today describe a profound sense of awe and wonder when standing before the glyph walls. The enormity of the city, the intricate carvings, and the surrounding jungle create a moment suspended between past and present. One can imagine priests and rulers walking these causeways, performing rituals, reading the stories, and feeling the weight of divine oversight. The glyphs were not static, they were interactive, living records designed to shape experience, understanding, and devotion. The forgotten glyphs of El Mirador remind us that the Maya were architects of knowledge, not just of stone. They encoded complex ideas into monumental forms, creating works that were at once beautiful, functional, and deeply symbolic. Every line, curve, and figure is a window into a civilization that understood its place in the cosmos and sought to communicate that understanding to generations yet to come. As the sun filters through the jungle canopy, casting shifting shadows over the carved walls, the glyphs seem to come alive. Their stories resonate in the mind. Their patterns challenge the intellect, and their mysteries provoke imagination. Standing before them, one realizes that history is not merely a record of events, it is a dialogue across time, a bridge built of stone and human aspiration. The forgotten glyphs endure as more than inscriptions. They are storytellers, guardians of knowledge, and monuments to human curiosity and ambition. They challenge us to look deeper, to question what we know, and to marvel at the ingenuity of a civilization that thrived long before the modern world existed. And so the walls of El Mirador whisper still, waiting for those bold enough to uncover their secrets and listen to the voices of a forgotten world. The meteorite altar of Kultap. In the rolling hills of Anatolia, where the plains stretch toward distant mountains, lies the ancient site of Kultap, a settlement that was once a thriving hub of trade, ritual, and early civilization. Among the many ruins scattered across the landscape, there exists an artifact so enigmatic that it continues to baffle historians and archaeologists alike: the meteorite altar of Kultap. Unlike ordinary altars, which were constructed from local stone or clay, this altar is fashioned from a single fragment of meteoric iron, a piece of the heavens brought to earth. It has been shaped, polished, and positioned with deliberate intention, suggesting a level of reverence and knowledge that transcends ordinary religious practice. Standing before it, one feels both the weight of the cosmos and the ingenuity of those who first lifted it from the ground, integrating it into their spiritual world. Kultepe itself was a city of commerce and culture, linking Anatolia to distant civilizations through trade networks that stretched across the ancient Near East. But amidst this bustling exchange of goods and ideas, the meteorite altar stands apart, not merely as a utilitarian or decorative object, but as a symbol of cosmic significance. Its very material connects the people of Kultepe to a larger universe, suggesting that they recognized, perhaps instinctively, the power and rarity of a rock that had fallen from the sky. The craftsmanship of the altar is remarkable. Despite the hardness of meteoric iron, the artisans of Kultepe carved smooth surfaces, geometric forms, and ritualistic markings, carefully balancing aesthetic, symbolic, and functional elements. Every contour, every etched line, reflects deliberate choice, a marriage of celestial material and human skill. The altar's presence dominates its immediate surroundings, commanding attention and respect, inviting observers to reflect not just on the earth below, but on the heavens above. Archaeological studies suggest that the altar played a central role in ceremonial practices. The positioning of the stone within Kultepe aligns with certain celestial events, hinting that rituals performed here may have been connected to the movements of stars, planets, or even meteor showers. Some researchers propose that the altar acted as a focal point for offerings, prayers, or divination, a bridge between humans and the mysteries of the sky. The thought that a community thousands of years ago could manipulate cosmic awareness through material and ritual is as humbling as it is extraordinary. The altar's meteoric composition adds layers of intrigue. Meteorites were rare and enigmatic in the ancient world, often imbued with supernatural qualities. Many cultures regarded them as gifts from the gods, carriers of divine power, or objects of prophecy. By incorporating such a stone into their religious practice, the people of Kultepe were not only demonstrating reverence but also creating a tangible connection between the terrestrial and celestial, between human ambition and cosmic wonder. Local folklore adds even more mystique. Generations of villagers spoke of a stone from the sky that could grant insight, protect the community, or bring fortune to those who approached it with respect. While modern observers may view these stories as legend, they highlight the enduring impact of the altar, a reminder that objects like this are more than material, they are vessels of memory, belief, and cultural continuity. The environment of Koltepe also emphasizes the altar's significance. Positioned on an elevated plateau, it overlooks the surrounding plains and valleys, commanding a panoramic view of the landscape. Such placement was unlikely to be accidental. It reinforces the altar's role as a focal point of ritual and observation, connecting the heavens, the city, and the people in a single, immersive experience. It is a monument that bridges space, time, and perception. Over centuries, the meteorite altar has faced natural and human challenges: erosion, excavation, and the slow encroachment of vegetation. Yet it endures, its form, function, and cosmic significance preserved. Modern technology, including spectroscopy, 3D scanning, and metallurgical analysis, has revealed the full extent of the artisan's skill and the stone's extraterrestrial origin. These discoveries have only deepened our fascination, revealing a sophistication in ritual practice and material knowledge that rivals contemporary civilizations elsewhere. Standing before the altar today, one cannot help but feel a sense of wonder. The weight of the meteoric stone, the precision of the craftsmanship, and the deliberate placement all combine to evoke humility and curiosity. Here is a relic that embodies human ingenuity, cosmic mystery, and spiritual ambition, a tangible reminder that ancient people looked to the sky, not just for stories, but for guidance, understanding, and connection.
Meteorite altar of Koltepe challenges everything we assume about early civilizations.
It is a testament to the ability of humans to recognize significance in the natural world, to elevate rare materials into symbols of power, and to build rituals and structures that endure for millennia. It reminds us that history is not only written in texts, but carved in stone, imbued in celestial fragments, and preserved in the imagination of those who came before us. As the sun sets over the Anatolian hills, casting long shadows across the ruins, the altar seems to hum with a silent energy, a connection between earth and sky, past and present. It is a monument to wonder, to ambition, and to the enduring human desire to reach for the heavens. The meteorite altar stands not just as stone, but as memory, inspiration, and a whisper from the cosmos itself. It beckons us to explore, question, and marvel at the ingenuity of a people who dared to touch the sky and bring it down to earth. The bone calendar of Ishango. Deep within the dense forests and wetlands of the Congo, along the shores of the Semliki River, archaeologists uncovered one of humanity's most astonishing and mysterious artifacts, the Ishango bone. Dating back over 20,000 years, this slender, charred bone, etched with rows of notches, might be the earliest known tool for counting, tracking time, or understanding the cosmos. Its discovery transformed our understanding of prehistoric intelligence and hinted at a society far more sophisticated than we once imagined. At first glance, the Ishango bone appears simple, a small, pointed object about 7 inches long, carved from the fibula of a baboon. But closer inspection reveals an intricate system of markings, organized in distinct groupings and patterns that hint at arithmetic, lunar cycles, or even astronomical observation. Unlike anything else from its era, the bone reflects intentionality, planning, and abstract thought, a remarkable window into the mind of a people living tens of thousands of years before recorded history. The calendar designation arises from the way the notches are grouped. Some scholars suggest these marks track lunar months, seasonal cycles, or even fertility periods. Others propose that the bone represents an early form of counting, a tool to quantify resources, trade, or significant events. Whatever its original purpose, the Ishango bone demonstrates a level of cognitive sophistication that challenges assumptions about prehistoric societies. It is a bridge between mere survival and complex understanding, proof that even in the deepest past, humans were observing, recording, and interpreting the world around them. The craftsmanship of the bone itself is extraordinary. Each notch is carefully incised, varying in length and depth, suggesting deliberate categorization rather than random scratches. Its pointed end implies it could have been used for practical purposes, perhaps to etch marks in soft materials, or to calculate with small objects like pebbles. The precision suggests a conceptual framework, a prehistoric mind organizing and making sense of patterns in nature, time, and life itself. Ishango is not just an archaeological site, it is a testament to early human curiosity. In a region where dense forests, rivers, and wetlands dominated the landscape, survival required knowledge of cycles, when to plant, hunt, or migrate. The Ishango bone may have functioned as a practical tool for understanding these rhythms, encoding information vital to survival. At the same time, it hints at abstract thought, an ability to conceptualize, to anticipate, and to record information for future reference. The patterns themselves are tantalizing. Some groupings suggest prime numbers, sequences that modern mathematicians recognize as surprisingly sophisticated for such an ancient artifact. Could this small bone represent one of humanity's earliest steps toward mathematical understanding? The thought is humbling. A tiny piece of bone, carried and marked by a person tens of thousands of years ago, may have contained the seeds of numeracy that would echo into civilizations yet to come. Cultural context adds to the mystery. The Ashango people left little else behind, no monumental structures, no written language, yet this single artifact speaks volumes. It represents the desire to understand, to impose order on the natural world, and to communicate knowledge across generations. Its survival through millennia is a testament to both the durability of materials and the enduring power of human ingenuity. The discovery process itself is a story of patience, curiosity, and awe. In the 1950s, Belgian archaeologist Jean de Heinzelin carefully excavated the site, recognizing immediately that the bone was unlike ordinary tools or ornaments. Subsequent studies, using magnification, chemical analysis, and mathematical modeling, revealed the extraordinary nature of the markings, sparking debates that continue to this day. The Ashango bone challenges us not only to reinterpret prehistoric cognition, but also to reconsider the timeline of human intellectual achievement. Standing with the Ashango bone in mind, one feels the weight of time and the continuity of human curiosity. Here is a person, thousands of generations removed, marking patterns on a piece of bone, seeking to understand the world in a way that transcends mere survival. The act itself, observation, notation, calculation, is profoundly human, connecting us across tens of thousands of years to the minds that came before. The bone's potential purpose as a calendar also underscores the sophistication of prehistoric society. Keeping track of lunar months, seasonal changes, or other cycles would have been critical for survival in the Congo's diverse and challenging environment. The Ashango bone may have functioned as a guide for hunting, gathering, or ritual observances, blending practical knowledge with abstract thought in a single portable artifact. Moreover, the Ashango bone is a reminder that human innovation often begins in small, subtle ways. There are no pyramids, no towering statues, no monumental carvings here, just a humble piece of bone, yet it carries profound implications. It reveals that long before written history, humans were observers, mathematicians, and strategists, capable of reasoning about patterns, numbers, and cycles with precision and insight. Modern researchers continue to study the Ashango bone with ever more advanced tools. High-resolution imaging, 3D modeling, and comparative analysis with other artifacts have revealed subtleties that previous generations could not detect. Yet each new discovery only deepens the mystery. Why was this artifact created? How widely was this knowledge shared? And how many other insights from prehistory remain hidden, lost beneath layers of soil, time, and oblivion? The bone calendar of Ashango is more than an object. It is a testament to human intellect, curiosity, and the enduring desire to understand the universe. It challenges us to rethink what we assume about prehistoric societies, reminding us that even in the earliest days of humanity, minds were counting, calculating, and striving to make sense of the world around them. Holding the bone in imagination, one can picture the hands that carved it, the eyes that observed the cycles of moon and river, and the minds that recognized patterns where others saw only chaos. The Ashango bone endures as a quiet monument to intelligence, foresight, and the sunken ziggurat of Larak. Beneath the calm, murky waters of the Persian Gulf lies a mystery that has baffled archaeologists, historians, and adventurers alike: the sunken ziggurat of Larak. Once towering above the plains of ancient Mesopotamia, this massive stepped temple now rests submerged, hidden from view, a silent witness to a world that existed thousands of years before modern civilization. Its discovery challenges everything we think we know about ancient engineering, architecture, and the people who dared to reach for the heavens. The ziggurat of Larak was no ordinary temple. Constructed from sun-baked bricks, mud, and stone, it once dominated the surrounding landscape, its tiers rising high into the sky, a bridge between earth and the divine. Ziggurats were considered sacred spaces, designed to bring priests and rulers closer to the gods. And Larak's structure, with its massive scale and precise geometry, suggests it was among the most ambitious of them all. Each level, each terrace, and each platform carried symbolic significance, a layered map of the cosmos, faith, and power. What sets Larak apart is its submersion. Geological studies indicate that rising sea levels, shifting river courses, and seismic activity gradually swallowed the city, including its monumental ziggurat. Today, only underwater sonar scans and diver reports hint at its original grandeur. Even submerged, the remnants of the stepped terraces, stairways, and ceremonial platforms evoke a sense of awe. One can almost imagine the bustling activity of priests performing rituals, worshippers ascending the tiers, and the city alive with devotion, now frozen beneath the waves. The engineering of the ziggurat is staggering. Raising thousands of tons of bricks and mud in precise tiers required sophisticated knowledge of weight distribution, materials, and labor organization. The builders of Larak not only designed a towering structure but ensured it could endure the test of time. Even the encroaching waters could not erase its presence entirely. Archaeologists marvel at the precision of construction, noting that even in its ruined, submerged state, the ziggurat's geometry remains remarkably intact, a testament to the ingenuity of its creators. Historical records, inscriptions, and artifacts recovered nearby provide tantalizing clues. The ziggurat may have served as a ceremonial hub for a city that acted as a crossroads of trade, culture, and religion in ancient Mesopotamia. Its walls likely witnessed rituals, offerings, and astronomical observations, aligning with celestial events that guided agricultural cycles, governance, and spiritual practice. In this sense, the ziggurat was not just a building, but a sophisticated instrument of knowledge, power, and belief, a monument to human ambition and divine aspiration. Underwater explorations have revealed extraordinary details. Bricks stamped with symbolic motifs, remnants of stairways, and fragments of altars hint at the richness of the site. Even in decay, the sunken structure communicates design principles, ritualistic intent, and the aesthetic vision of the builders. Divers describe a haunting beauty as light filters through the water, illuminating steps and platforms that have not felt human feet in millennia. The ziggurat, though silent, continues to tell its story of devotion, civilization, and the inexorable power of nature reclaiming human achievement. The submersion adds layers of mystery and symbolism. Water, often associated with life, renewal, and transformation, now envelops the ziggurat, creating a surreal intersection of human endeavor and natural forces. It serves as a reminder that even the greatest constructions are not immune to the passage of time. Yet the very act of survival beneath the waves underscores the durability and significance of this ancient monument. Larak continues to communicate with those willing to look beneath the surface, bridging past and present through its quiet endurance. Local legends speak of a city that once shone like gold under the sun, with temples reaching toward the skies and streets lined with opulent palaces. These stories, long dismissed as myth, gain credibility in light of the underwater discoveries. The ziggurat stands as proof that human ambition in Mesopotamia was not merely architectural but also visionary, encompassing religion, astronomy, governance, and art in a single monumental form. The sunken ziggurat of Larak also challenges modern perceptions of history. Conventional narratives often underestimate the capabilities of early civilizations, imagining them as limited in scale and knowledge. Yet here, beneath the waters, lies evidence of a society capable of planning, engineering, and executing structures that rival, and in some cases surpass, the scale of monuments we associate with later periods. It is a reminder that history is not linear, and human ingenuity has always pushed the boundaries of possibility. Archaeologists continue to study the site using advanced technology. Sonar mapping, underwater drones, and 3D reconstruction have revealed terraces, ceremonial platforms, and potential access routes that hint at the ziggurat's original grandeur. Each new finding sparks questions. What rituals were performed here? How did the city adapt to changing environmental conditions? And what broader networks of trade, culture, and knowledge connected Larak to the ancient world? Standing metaphorically on the submerged terraces, one can almost hear echoes of the past, chants, footsteps, and the hum of a city alive with purpose. The ziggurat embodies both human aspiration and the passage of time, a symbol of the tension between our desire to reach the heavens and nature's inexorable reclamation. Its presence beneath the waves is both haunting and inspiring, a reminder that some of the greatest monuments of human history may lie hidden, waiting to be rediscovered. The sunken ziggurat of Larak is more than ruins beneath water. It is a testament to human imagination, devotion, and resilience. It challenges us to look deeper, to question what we know about early civilizations, and to marvel at the scale of ambition our ancestors dared to pursue. Even in silence, submerged and forgotten, it continues to inspire awe, curiosity, and wonder. As the light of the sun dances on the water's surface, glimmering over terraces and platforms lost to time, the ziggurat endures, a monument to the past, a puzzle for the present, and a challenge for the future. It reminds us that history is layered, that civilization's achievements are both fragile and eternal, and that beneath the waves lie stories waiting to be told. The sunken ziggurat of Larak stands as a bridge across millennia, urging us to uncover the mysteries of a civilization that reached for the heavens, and in doing so, left a mark that even the oceans could not entirely erase. The obsidian mirror of Tezcatlipoca. Deep in the heart of ancient Mesoamerica, where dense jungles and volcanic highlands converge, the Aztec civilization thrived, weaving religion, art, and power into monuments and artifacts that still capture the imagination today. Among their most enigmatic creations is a small yet profoundly mysterious object, the obsidian mirror of Tezcatlipoca. Known in the Nahuatl language as smoking mirror, This dark reflective stone was far more than a tool or ornament. It was a gateway to divine insight, a medium between the mortal world and the cosmic forces the Aztecs revered. Obsidian, a volcanic glass, was prized throughout Mesoamerica for its sharpness and reflective qualities. But the mirror of Tezcatlipoca was exceptional. Polished to perfection, its surface is smooth and deep, absorbing light while reflecting the faintest images of those who gaze upon it. The Aztecs believed it was a conduit for the god Tezcatlipoca himself, a deity associated with night, sorcery, judgment, and destiny. To peer into the mirror was not merely an act of observation, it was a spiritual ritual, a confrontation with fate, the divine, and one's own soul. The mirror's power lies not in its size, which is modest, but in its symbolism and use. Aztec priests and shamans employed it for divination, scrying visions of the future, interpreting omens, and communicating with deities. Ancient codices depict rituals in which the mirror was central. Incense would curl around its edges, chanting would echo through ceremonial chambers, and the priest would peer into the glass, seeking guidance for kings, warriors, and commoners alike. The obsidian mirror was both a physical object and a spiritual instrument, bridging worlds that few humans could traverse. The craftsmanship of the mirror is extraordinary. Obsidian is brittle and difficult to work, yet Aztec artisans polished and shaped it with remarkable precision, creating surfaces so reflective they almost seem to shimmer with an inner light. Its very creation required skill, patience, and an understanding of materials that suggests both technical mastery and reverence for the divine. Every curve, every polish, and every detail embodies a profound connection between human hands and spiritual intent. Beyond its ritual function, the mirror is deeply intertwined with the mythology of Tezcatlipoca. Known as the smoking mirror, the god embodies dualities, creation and destruction, light and darkness, fate and free will. The reflective surface of the mirror embodies this duality, allowing mortals to glimpse both themselves and the forces that shape their destinies. To look into the mirror was to confront not only one's own reflection, but the web of consequences, choices, and cosmic influence that Tezcatlipoca governed. The context in which the mirror was used further elevates its mystery. Aztec temples, built atop massive pyramids, served as ritual stages where priests conducted ceremonies for kings, warriors, and the community. Within these sacred spaces, the obsidian mirror functioned as a tool of authority and communication. Its reflective surface could reveal omens, warn of impending dangers, or illuminate paths that mortal eyes could not discern. It was both instrument and icon, merging art, religion, and governance into a single potent symbol. Archaeological studies and historical texts hint at the mirror's broader significance. Obsidian mirrors have been found across Mesoamerica, but the mirror of Tezcatlipoca stands apart due to its ceremonial prominence, mythological association, and artistic excellence. Scholars suggest that it was not merely a personal tool, but a central element in the spiritual and political life of the Aztec world, guiding decisions that shaped entire cities and empires. The mirror's metaphysical reputation was amplified by legend. It was said that the surface could show hidden truths, reveal enemies in disguise, or even allow glimpses of alternate realities. Such beliefs reflect the Aztecs' sophisticated understanding of symbolism and perception. They recognize that reflection is not just optical, but psychological and spiritual, that a mirror can reveal not only what is visible, but what is concealed within human consciousness and the cosmos. The creation of obsidian mirrors also highlights the Aztecs' technical prowess, harvesting volcanic glass, shaping it into a flat, polished surface, and preserving it without breakage required an intimate knowledge of geology, tools, and technique. The mirror is therefore both a spiritual and technological marvel, a testament to the ingenuity and artistry of a civilization that thrived long before European contact. Holding the mirror in one's imagination, one can almost see the ceremonies unfold, smoke curling around the polished surface, chants vibrating through temple halls, and the priest peering into the reflective abyss, seeking knowledge and guidance. The mirror becomes a portal, connecting observer and divine, present and eternal, mortal and cosmic. Even today, the obsidian mirror of Tezcatlipoca evokes awe. Modern viewers are struck not only by its beauty, but by the profound intelligence, ritual, and belief that went into its creation. It reminds us that ancient civilizations were not merely surviving, they were contemplating, observing, and engaging with forces beyond themselves. The antler crown of Star Car. In the wetlands of North Yorkshire, England, lies one of the most remarkable and enigmatic Mesolithic sites ever discovered, Star Car. Beneath peat and marsh, archaeologists have unearthed artifacts that reveal a level of sophistication and ritual awareness far beyond what might be expected from people living over 11,000 years ago. Among these finds, one stands out for its mystery, craftsmanship, and spiritual resonance, the antler crown of Star Car. This extraordinary object, fashioned from red deer antlers, was likely worn on the head, possibly by a shaman, hunter, or ritual specialist. Its construction is both intricate and deliberate, antlers carefully selected, shaped, and perforated to form a wearable headdress. Even today, the crown evokes awe, hinting at ceremonies, beliefs, and social structures that have long vanished from memory, leaving only the silent, preserved traces of a people deeply connected to their environment. The antler crown is more than a decorative piece. Archaeologists believe it played a central role in ritual activities, possibly related to hunting, fertility, or spiritual communication. The Mesolithic world was one of profound interdependence with nature. Every ritual, every gesture, and every crafted object reflected a dialogue with animals, seasons, and the unseen forces governing life. The crown, worn during ceremonies, would have transformed its wearer into a symbolic figure, a bridge between humans and the natural or spiritual realms. The craftsmanship of the crown is astonishing. Creating a headdress from antlers requires not only physical skill, but a deep understanding of materials. The antlers were cut, shaped, and smoothed without modern tools, yet they fit together perfectly to form a cohesive and functional crown. Its very design reflects both utility and symbolism, the antlers extending outward and upward, perhaps to embody power, connection, or transcendence. Every notch, every angle, and every piece of perforation reveals intention and awareness, underscoring the sophistication of Mesolithic artisans. Starkar itself provides crucial context. This was not merely a habitation site, it was a locus of spiritual and cultural activity. Archaeologists have uncovered structures, tools, and deposits that suggest complex rituals, seasonal gatherings, and symbolic practices. The antler crown fits into this tapestry as a focal point, a tangible expression of the Mesolithic worldview, where humans and animals were intertwined in cycles of life, survival, and reverence. The crown's use may have extended beyond ritual. Some researchers speculate it could have functioned as a status symbol, worn by a leader, shaman, or elite member of the group to convey authority, knowledge, or connection to the supernatural. In a society without written records, material symbols like the antler crown were essential for communication, memory, and social cohesion, conveying meaning across generations. Its discovery was transformative. The crown was preserved in anaerobic peat, which kept organic materials from decaying, a rare window into a world otherwise lost to time. For decades, archaeologists debated its function and significance, examining wear patterns, construction methods, and parallels with other Mesolithic sites. Each study revealed new layers of insight, confirming that the crown was not a casual ornament, but a deliberate, meaningful creation, integral to the spiritual and cultural life of its community. The symbolism of the antlers themselves is profound. Red deer were central to Mesolithic subsistence, providing food, tools, and materials. By wearing the antlers, the individual may have assumed the power, vitality, or identity of the animal, embodying its spirit during rituals or hunting ceremonies. This transformative aspect reflects a deep understanding of the interconnectedness between humans, animals, and the forces that govern their shared world. Modern interpretations continue to evolve. Some researchers suggest the antler crown was part of larger ceremonial ensembles, paired with body paint, animal hides, and other regalia. Others see it as a tool for shamanic journeys, worn to enter altered states of consciousness, connect with the spirits of animals, and gain insight for the benefit of the community. In any case, it is clear that the crown was not merely functional, it was an artifact charged with meaning, intention, and power. Standing in imagination before the antler crown, one can almost witness the ceremonies, smoke rising from fires, chants echoing across the wetland. The wearer adorned with antlers stepping into a world where the boundary between human and animal, mortal and divine, is blurred. The crown becomes a portal into the Mesolithic mind, offering glimpses of belief, ritual, and the human desire to connect with forces beyond ordinary perception. The antler crown of Starkar also reminds us of the ingenuity and creativity of early humans. In an era long before metallurgy, writing, or monumental architecture, people crafted objects of extraordinary skill and symbolic depth. They observed the world, understood materials, and encoded meaning into forms that could survive millennia, a testament to cognitive sophistication and spiritual awareness. Even today, the crown inspires awe and curiosity. Archaeologists, historians, and visitors alike are struck by its delicate balance of strength, beauty, and meaning. It is a reminder that the earliest humans were not merely surviving, they were thinking, reflecting, and creating with purpose, intent, and reverence. In a single piece of antler, a story of spirituality, artistry, and connection is preserved, whispering across the ages. The antler crown of Starkar endures as more than an artifact. It is a symbol of human imagination, ingenuity, and the timeless quest to understand and engage with the world. It challenges us to consider the spiritual lives of our ancestors, their relationship with nature, and the ways in which material objects conveyed meaning, identity, and power. In the stillness of the peat bog, the crown remains, silent but eloquent. It calls us to wonder, to imagine, and to marvel at the people who thousands of years ago, reached into the natural world and shaped it into something extraordinary. The antler crown is a bridge across time, connecting modern minds with Mesolithic souls, reminding us that even in the distant past, humans were capable of profound creativity, ritual, and understanding. The iron pillar of Dar. In the heart of Madhya Pradesh, India, amidst the sprawling landscape of ancient fortresses and temples, stands an object of profound mystery and engineering marvel, the iron pillar of Dar. Unlike monuments carved from stone, or adorned with intricate sculpture, this pillar is forged entirely from iron, standing as a silent testament to the ingenuity, skill, and vision of craftsmen who lived centuries ago. Its endurance, resisting corrosion and decay in a humid climate, has puzzled metallurgists, historians, and travelers for generations, making it one of the most remarkable relics of ancient India. At first glance, the iron pillar appears deceptively simple, a tall cylindrical shaft of polished iron, unadorned except for subtle inscriptions and minimal ornamentation. Yet its very presence is extraordinary. Forged over a millennium ago, it has survived floods, storms, and the relentless passage of time without significant rusting or structural decay. Modern science has studied it extensively, seeking answers in chemistry and metallurgy, but the pillar continues to amaze, defying the natural tendencies of iron to corrode. The craftsmanship behind the pillar is staggering. Ancient Indian blacksmiths employed techniques that remain impressive even by today's standards. Each section was forged individually and then joined with such precision that the seams are nearly invisible. The metal was treated in a manner that created a protective layer, a chemical shield that has preserved it for centuries. In essence, the iron pillar is not just a monument, it is a laboratory of ancient metallurgy, a demonstration of knowledge, patience, and extraordinary skill. Its significance goes beyond the technical. The pillar bears inscriptions in Sanskrit, detailing dedications to Vishnu, one of the principal deities of Hinduism. These inscriptions reveal not only devotion, but also the desire to communicate values, beliefs, and achievements across generations. The pillar, in its enduring form, becomes a bridge between the spiritual, the social, and the technological realms of ancient India, a convergence of faith and skill frozen in iron. The iron pillar of Dar also poses questions about ambition and symbolism. Why create such a massive iron structure? How did ancient artisans source, forge, and erect a piece of this scale? Its sheer size, height, and durability suggest that it was meant to be more than a decorative object. It was a statement of power, knowledge, and permanence. The pillar communicates a desire to transcend time, to leave a legacy that would endure for centuries, and to inspire awe in those who beheld it. Historical context adds layers to its mystery. Dar, known for its forts and temples, was a center of political, spiritual, and cultural activity. The iron pillar fits into this broader narrative as a monument to human achievement, a symbol of the intersection of art, engineering, and devotion. Its survival through wars, invasions, and environmental challenges speaks not only to the pillar's resilience but also to the reverence with which it has been treated over centuries. Modern metallurgists have marveled at the pillar's corrosion resistance. The iron contains a high phosphorus content, which, when combined with environmental factors, created a protective passive layer on the surface. This accidental yet brilliant combination of materials and conditions has preserved the pillar in a way that modern technology often struggles to replicate. In this sense, the iron pillar stands as both a scientific mystery and a monument to ancient innovation, a symbol of human ingenuity that continues to inspire research and admiration. The pillar also invites reflection on the cultural and spiritual mindset of its creators. In a society that revered craftsmanship, devotion, and knowledge, the iron pillar embodies a holistic vision, an object that is functional, aesthetic, durable, and symbolic all at once. It was not merely a technological feat, it was a cultural statement, a monument to the possibilities of human creativity when guided by faith, purpose, and skill. Visitors to Dar today describe a profound sense of awe when standing before the pillar. Its height, its polished surface, and its seemingly indestructible form evoke a connection to centuries past. One can almost imagine the artisans at work, hammering, shaping, and aligning each segment, guided by both expertise and spiritual intention. The pillar becomes a tangible connection to a civilization that valued permanence, excellence, and the pursuit of mastery over material and form. Beyond its physical and spiritual significance, the iron pillar is a lesson in humility. It challenges modern assumptions about ancient societies, revealing that people of the past were capable of extraordinary feats of engineering, chemistry, and artistry, often without the tools, machines, or scientific knowledge we take for granted today. In its silent endurance, the pillar reminds us that human ingenuity is timeless, and that the pursuit of knowledge, beauty, and legacy has always been a fundamental part of our story. The iron pillar of Dar continues to inspire inquiry, admiration, and wonder. Its presence raises questions about the limits of ancient technology, the depth of human devotion, and the ability of a single object to communicate across centuries. It is at once a marvel of engineering, a symbol of spiritual dedication, and a monument to the enduring power of human creativity. As the sun casts shadows along its smooth, dark surface, the iron pillar stands resolute, a sentinel of history, a testament to skill, and a reminder that the past is filled with achievements that continue to challenge, educate, and inspire. Its legacy endures, not just in iron, but in the awe it evokes and the stories it carries across time. The Iron Pillar of Dar is more than a monument, it is a connection to the ingenuity, faith, and determination of humanity. It invites us to look closely, to learn, and to marvel at the achievements of those who came long before, leaving behind a structure that stands unyielding, timeless, and unforgettable. The Sandstone Sarcophagus of Abydos. Along the ancient banks of the Nile, in the heart of Egypt's sacred city of Abydos, rests a monument to devotion, mystery, and eternal craftsmanship, the Sandstone Sarcophagus of Abydos. Unlike the towering pyramids or gilded tombs of pharaohs, this sarcophagus is deceptively simple at first glance. Yet within its carefully carved sandstone walls lies a story of religious significance, artistic mastery, and a civilization's quest for immortality that continues to captivate archaeologists, historians, and travelers alike. Abydos itself was a city of immense spiritual importance, known as the burial place of early Egyptian kings, and as a center for worship of Osiris, the god of the afterlife. The city was a focal point for pilgrimage, ritual, and remembrance. Within this sacred context, the sandstone sarcophagus was more than a container for the dead, it was a vessel for belief, a bridge between the temporal and eternal, and a canvas upon which human devotion and divine aspiration converged. The craftsmanship of the sarcophagus is extraordinary. Carved from a single block of high-quality sandstone, the artisans achieved precision, symmetry, and a sense of solemnity that communicates both reverence and authority. Hieroglyphics etched along its surfaces tell stories, prayers, invocations, and spells meant to guide the deceased through the underworld and into the eternal realm of Osiris. Every line, every symbol, and every curve was deliberate, reflecting a sophisticated understanding of religious practice, art, and the power of visual storytelling. Unlike ordinary burials, sarcophagi in Abydos often incorporated symbolic architecture and celestial alignment. Some researchers suggest that the positioning of this particular sandstone sarcophagus corresponded to stars or seasonal events, integrating earthly existence with cosmic order. In this sense, the sarcophagus is not only a tomb, but also a map of the universe, encoding the Egyptian understanding of life, death, and the cycles of existence into solid stone. The inscriptions themselves offer tantalizing glimpses into the mindset of the ancient Egyptians. They include invocations to Osiris, appeals for protection against malevolent spirits, and instructions for navigating the challenges of the afterlife. Each glyph is both practical and spiritual, an assurance that the deceased could pass safely into eternity while maintaining a connection to the living. The sarcophagus, therefore, is as much a tool for survival in the afterlife as it is a work of art, a fusion of utility, symbolism, and devotion. The sarcophagus also reflects the social and political structure of Abydos. The resources, labor, and expertise required to quarry, transport, carve, and inscribe such a massive piece of sandstone suggest a society capable of complex organization. Teams of artisans, scribes, and laborers would have collaborated meticulously, each contributing skill and knowledge to ensure the final product met spiritual, aesthetic, and structural expectations. In this way, the sarcophagus embodies a collective human effort, demonstrating the depth of communal devotion and societal sophistication. Archaeological exploration of Abydos has revealed that the sarcophagus was part of a larger necropolis, surrounded by temples, shrines, and additional tombs. Its placement within this sacred landscape was deliberate, intended to ensure protection, honor, and accessibility for rituals performed by priests and pilgrims. The alignment and context of the sarcophagus emphasize its role as a central instrument in the spiritual life of the city, both a resting place and a conduit for divine energy. The enduring mystery of the sandstone sarcophagus lies not only in its inscriptions or craftsmanship, but in its preservation. Despite centuries of Nile floods, sandstorms, and human activity, the structure remains remarkably intact. This resilience speaks to the Egyptians' advanced knowledge of stone, construction, and environmental factors, ensuring that their creations would withstand time and continue to fulfill their sacred purpose long after the living had passed. Standing before the sarcophagus today, one can almost hear the echoes of rituals, the chant of priests, the footsteps of pilgrims, and the ceremonial offerings made to honor the dead and appease the gods. The sarcophagus embodies a dialogue between mortality and eternity, a reminder that for the ancient Egyptians, death was not an end but a transformation, and that material objects could serve as guides, protectors, and symbols in the journey beyond. The sandstone sarcophagus of Abydos also invites reflection on the human desire to leave a mark, to create something enduring that communicates across generations. It is both personal and universal, a container for an individual's remains and a testament to a civilization's understanding of life, death, and the cosmos. Its carvings, inscriptions, and design are lessons in both art and philosophy, preserving ideas about morality, divinity, and human destiny. Even today, scholars study the sarcophagus using modern techniques, 3D scanning, pigment analysis, and contextual archaeology, revealing further subtleties in construction and design. Yet each discovery only deepens the mystery. How did the artisans plan such precise work? What rituals accompanied its creation and installation? And what stories of devotion, hope, and reverence remain hidden within its walls, waiting to be uncovered? The sarcophagus serves as a bridge across millennia, connecting modern observers with the spiritual, artistic, and intellectual life of ancient Egypt. It challenges assumptions about the capabilities of early civilizations, reminding us that even in times long past, humans sought to understand life, honor the dead, and leave behind symbols of permanence and meaning. The sandstone sarcophagus of Abydos endures not merely as stone, but as a vessel of human aspiration, artistry, and belief. Its quiet presence speaks of devotion, ingenuity, and the timeless human desire to confront mortality with dignity and purpose. As the sun casts shadows along the carved glyphs, illuminating prayers etched in sandstone, one feels a connection to the past, a silent dialogue with those who crafted, revered, and were guided by this remarkable artifact. In the end, the sarcophagus is more than a tomb. It is a monument to human creativity, faith, and the relentless pursuit of understanding life and the afterlife. It invites us to reflect on our own mortality, to appreciate the craftsmanship of the past, and to marvel at the civilizations that shaped history with both hands and spirit. The sandstone sarcophagus of Abydos stands as a testament to eternity, whispering stories of devotion, belief, and ingenuity across thousands of years, a timeless symbol of humanity's quest to connect with the divine and endure beyond the fleeting span of life. The jade burial suit of Liu Sheng. In the rolling plains of China's ancient Han Dynasty heartland, the discovery of an extraordinary royal tomb revealed one of history's most enigmatic and luxurious burial artifacts, the jade burial suit of Liu Sheng. Liu Sheng, a prince of the Han Dynasty who lived over 2,000 years ago, was interred in a tomb that reflected the wealth, spiritual beliefs, and meticulous artistry of one of China's most sophisticated civilizations. The jade suit found within his resting place remains a symbol of human ambition, ingenuity, and the desire to transcend mortality. The suit itself is a masterpiece of craftsmanship, composed of thousands of meticulously cut jade plaques. Each piece is perforated and bound together with gold, silver, or silk threads. The result is both armor and attire, a full-body garment that covers every part of the prince's form, designed not only to preserve the body, but also to confer immortality. Jade in Chinese culture was considered a sacred material, believed to prevent decay, ward off evil spirits, and ensure the wearer's spiritual ascension. Liu Sheng's burial suit, then, is more than decoration. It is an instrument of eternity. The creation of the suit required extraordinary skill, patience, and resources. Each jade tile was polished, drilled, and arranged in perfect symmetry. The precision of the perforations allowed for delicate threading without breaking the fragile stone. Ancient artisans spent years, possibly decades, crafting suits of this complexity, reflecting the fusion of spiritual intention and technical mastery that characterized the Han Dynasty. The work involved a deep understanding of materials, labor organization, and aesthetic sensibility, a monumental achievement by any measure. Beyond its technical marvel, the suit embodies spiritual and cultural beliefs. The Han Dynasty embraced the notion of bodily preservation as a path to immortality. The jade acted as a protective shield for the soul, maintaining the prince's essence and safeguarding him against decay and the forces of the underworld. Each tile was believed to act as a vessel for vitality, forming a sacred lattice that would endure beyond death, symbolizing the continuity of life and the eternal nature of spirit. The tomb of Liu Shen, located in Mancheng, Hebei Province, is itself an architectural wonder. Constructed from earth, stone, and timber, the burial complex was designed to mimic the palace and lifestyle of the prince in life. Within this subterranean chamber, the jade suit lay as the centerpiece, a dazzling testament to the Han Dynasty's reverence for the afterlife, the sophistication of their artisans, and the social hierarchy that enabled such grand undertakings. The tomb included elaborate offerings, pottery, bronze vessels, and artifacts of daily use, underscoring a belief that life in the afterworld mirrored earthly existence. The suit's design and execution also reveal broader insights into Han Dynasty society. The resources, labor, and coordination required to produce such a masterpiece speak to centralized authority, social organization, and cultural values. Jade, a material of immense rarity and symbolic power, was reserved for royalty and the elite, emphasizing the hierarchical structure of the society and the spiritual significance of the prince's status. The burial suit is therefore both personal and political, a declaration of identity, wealth, and power, as well as a tool for spiritual transcendence. Modern scholars have marveled at the preservation of Lu Sheng's tomb and the jade suit. Despite the passage of over 2 millennia, the tiles remain largely intact, their surfaces polished and arranged in the meticulous pattern envisioned by ancient hands. Each piece continues to communicate with the present, offering insights into ancient metallurgy, lapidary techniques, ritual practice, and the philosophical foundations of life and death in Han China. The symbolism of the jade itself cannot be overstated. Jade was believed to embody purity, immortality, and protection. By encasing Lu Sheng in jade, the Han people were not merely preserving a body, they were creating a bridge between the earthly and divine, ensuring that the prince would endure in both memory and spirit. The suit represents the culmination of religious philosophy, aesthetic refinement, and technical achievement, a singular object capable of telling a profound story about humanity's desire to confront mortality with beauty and ingenuity. Archaeologists and historians studying the jade suit are continually amazed by its complexity. The thousands of tiles form a lattice that conforms to the contours of the human body with precision. The connections, the flexibility, and the decorative harmony suggest not only technical expertise, but also a spiritual mindfulness, the work of artisans who understood that their craft was inseparable from religious intent. The suit is thus a tangible intersection of art, technology, and spirituality. Imagining Lu Sheng wearing the suit in life and resting within it after death evokes a powerful vision. The prince, enveloped in luminous jade, would have embodied both human presence and divine protection. In ceremonies and ritual observances, the suit would have been the focal point for priests and mourners, an object of awe and reverence, bridging the gap between mortal existence and the eternal cosmos. The jade burial suit of Lu Sheng continues to inspire curiosity, research, and admiration. It reminds us that even in ancient times, humans sought to master materials, manipulate form, and create objects that could outlast mortality. It embodies a civilization's technological prowess, religious devotion, and aesthetic sophistication, standing as a testament to what is possible when skill, belief, and imagination converge. Even today, the suit captivates. Scholars analyze its construction, students marvel at its artistry, and visitors are drawn into the mystery of a civilization that viewed death not as an end but as a transformation. Every tile, thread, and placement speaks of intent, ritual, and a profound desire to communicate across millennia. The jade burial suit of Lu Sheng is more than the terracotta oracle of Nok. In the sun-scorched plains of central Nigeria, far from the bustling cities of today, lies the birthplace of one of Africa's most mysterious and captivating ancient civilizations, the Nok culture. Flourishing between 1000 BCE and 300 CE, the Nok people are best known for their terracotta sculptures, exquisite, haunting, and enigmatic artifacts that continue to intrigue historians and archaeologists worldwide. Among these creations, one stands out for its spiritual resonance, artistry, and enduring mystery: the terracotta oracle of Nok. Unlike mere figurines, the oracle embodies both presence and purpose. Fashioned from clay, shaped, and fired in primitive kilns, the sculpture depicts a human-like figure imbued with an almost lifelike aura. Its proportions, posture, and expression convey a deep understanding of human anatomy and emotion, suggesting that the creators were not only skilled artisans but also keen observers of life itself. Every detail, from the tilt of the head to the positioning of hands, seems intentional, hinting at a ritual or spiritual function that transcends simple decoration. The term oracle is apt. Researchers believe such figures were not created merely to adorn homes or graves, but served as conduits between the living and the spiritual world. In a culture deeply attuned to natural forces, cycles of life, and the unseen realms, these terracotta figures likely acted as intermediaries, vessels through which guidance, protection, and insight could flow. The oracle may have been consulted in times of uncertainty, illness, or community decision-making, carrying with it the voice of ancestors, spirits, or divine forces. The craftsmanship of the terracotta oracle is astonishing. Despite the limitations of early technology, Nok artisans produced forms of remarkable symmetry, balance, and expression. The clay was carefully selected, shaped, and dried before being fired at high temperatures, producing durable figures that have survived for over 2 millennia. Some oracles bear traces of pigment, suggesting that they were once painted, adding a layer of vibrancy and life to these silent witnesses of history. Beyond its aesthetic appeal, the oracle provides a window into the spiritual and social life of the Nok culture. Anthropologists suggest that these figures played a central role in rituals, ceremonies, or communal gatherings. The oracle may have represented deities, ancestral spirits, or symbolic archetypes, embodying ideals, fears, and hopes. In holding or gazing upon the figure, the community would have engaged in a tangible act of connection, bringing the abstract and divine into their daily lives. The significance of terracotta extends beyond ritual. The Nok people lived in a world shaped by agriculture, metallurgy, and community organization. The creation of these figures demonstrates not only artistic sophistication, but also social cohesion and cultural expression. Each oracle, while unique, reflects shared beliefs, conventions, and symbolism, allowing archaeologists to glimpse the collective consciousness of a society long vanished. What makes the terracotta oracle particularly compelling is its lifelike presence. Many figures exhibit naturalistic features, tilted heads, elongated necks, or intricately patterned hairstyles that suggest not only technical skill but also an intention to capture essence, identity, or status. These were not generic forms. They were individualized, deliberate, and charged with meaning, serving as both personal and communal symbols. The ritual context of the oracle is equally fascinating. Terracotta figures were often found buried in shrines, pits, or near dwellings, suggesting ceremonial placement. Some scholars propose that they were used in divination practices, whereby priests or shamans would consult the figures for guidance or insight. The oracle, therefore, acted as a bridge, a medium through which human intention met spiritual response, offering a framework for understanding and interacting with the unseen forces that governed the world. The durability and preservation of the terracotta oracle continue to astound researchers. Fired in rudimentary kilns yet surviving centuries of weathering, burial, and human activity, the figures testify to the ingenuity of Nok artisans. Their resilience mirrors the spiritual significance the objects carried, as if the physical endurance of the oracle was an extension of its protective, guiding, or prophetic role. Standing before a terracotta oracle today, one cannot help but feel the weight of time and culture. The figure exudes quiet authority, its gaze suggesting knowledge beyond the earthly realm. It is both object and interlocutor, inviting contemplation and reflection. Modern viewers are drawn into a dialogue across millennia, connecting with a people who, though long gone, continue to speak through clay, fire, and imagination. The oracle's presence also illuminates broader truths about human creativity and spirituality. Even in societies lacking written language, monumental architecture, or advanced metallurgy, humans found ways to encode beliefs, communicate with the divine, and express the deepest aspects of existence. The terracotta oracle is proof that art and spirituality are universal, transcending time, geography, and technological limitations. The discovery of the oracle has prompted ongoing research and fascination. Archaeologists continue to uncover new figures, analyzing their construction, symbolism, and placement within Nok sites. Each find adds nuance to our understanding of this remarkable civilization, yet many questions remain. What exact rituals accompanied the oracle? How did it mediate between human and spirit? What stories and knowledge have been lost to time, leaving only these enigmatic clay forms as witnesses? Despite these mysteries, the terracotta oracle endures as a symbol of human imagination and devotion. It challenges modern assumptions about ancient African civilizations, reminding us that artistic sophistication, spiritual depth, and cultural complexity existed far earlier and in ways that often surprise contemporary scholarship. The oracle is not merely a relic, it is a voice from the past, speaking across centuries to convey reverence, insight, and human ingenuity. In contemplating the terracotta oracle of Nok, one gains more than historical knowledge. One experiences a connection to ancestors, to the divine, and to the enduring power of human creativity. It is a reminder that even in the most distant past, humans sought to understand, protect, and shape their world, leaving behind artifacts that the ice mummy of Yukok Plateau. High in the wind-swept mountains of the Altai region, on the remote Yukok Plateau that straddles Russia, Mongolia, Kazakhstan, and China, lies a frozen testament to an ancient culture and a story preserved in ice. Here, amidst the cold, arid expanse above 2,500 meters, archaeologists discovered a remarkable and haunting relic of the past, the ice mummy of Yukok. Known as the Siberian Ice Princess, this frozen figure is more than a body preserved by nature. It is a window into the lives, beliefs, and rituals of a people who lived over 2.5 millennia ago. The discovery of the ice mummy in 1993 stunned the archaeological world. Buried in a kurgan, a burial mound typical of the Pazyryk culture, the body was remarkably intact, its flesh, hair, tattoos, and even clothing preserved by the permafrost of the plateau. The mummy was positioned in a coffin-like depression within the mound, surrounded by elaborate grave goods, silk garments, felt cushions, wooden chests, and even horses carefully arranged to accompany the deceased into the afterlife. This level of preservation offers an unprecedented glimpse into life in the Eurasian steppes during the Iron Age. What sets the ice mummy apart is not merely its preservation but the intricate tattoos adorning her body. The designs depict fantastical creatures, deer, griffins, and mythical beasts, each flowing across her skin with artistry and precision. These tattoos, inked with plant-based dyes, were not decorative alone, they were deeply symbolic, representing spiritual protection, social status, and perhaps even the identity of the individual as a shaman, priestess, or elite member of her society. Every line and curve tells a story, a language of ink that has endured over 2 millennia. The mummy's clothing, crafted from wool and felt, demonstrates both practicality and ceremonial significance. Elaborate embroidery, bright colors, and delicate stitching reveal a culture that understood materials, symbolism, and aesthetic expression. The garments were not just functional against the harsh plateau climate, they were also imbued with meaning, worn in death as they had been in life, ensuring status, protection, and connection to the spiritual realm. Equally fascinating are the funerary practices evident in the Yukok burial. Horses were positioned alongside the deceased, bridled and prepared for a journey into the afterlife. Wooden chests and artifacts, including combs, mirrors, and tools, suggest a belief in continuity between the earthly and spiritual worlds. The Pazyryk people sought to ensure that their dead were fully equipped for life beyond mortality, reflecting a sophisticated understanding of ritual, cosmology, and reverence for ancestry. The ice mummy of Yukok has also become a focal point for understanding the social hierarchy of her people. The quality of her burial, the precision of the grave, the richness of artifacts, the care and preparation indicates that she held a high status, perhaps as a chieftain's consort, a shamanic leader, or a spiritual figure entrusted with the well-being of the community. In a culture shaped by harsh environments, mobility, and survival, the prominence of certain individuals in life and death speaks to the intricate social structures and spiritual priorities of the Pazyryk people. Scientific analysis of the mummy has yielded astonishing details. Studies of hair, nails, and preserved tissues reveal not only age, diet, and health but also traces of rituals, poisons, and ceremonial substances. Even the position of the body, the orientation of the grave, and the arrangement of artifacts suggest meticulous planning, combining practicality with cosmological significance. The ice mummy thus embodies both human fragility and cultural sophistication, preserved in a frozen time capsule that challenges our understanding of ancient societies. The tattoos themselves hold extraordinary insight. Their imagery is rich in symbolism, suggesting shamanic practices, connections to animals revered in the steppe, and narratives that may reflect myths, cosmology, or personal achievement. Each animal, each geometric pattern, was carefully chosen to convey protection, status, and spiritual power, reinforcing the belief that the deceased remained active in the spiritual world, even in death. Visiting the Yukok Plateau today evokes a sense of awe and isolation. The harsh wind, the high altitude, and the sprawling landscape transport one into the world of the Pazyryk people, where survival demanded skill, adaptability, and a profound respect for the spiritual dimensions of life. Imagining the ice mummy lying in her kurgan, adorned with tattoos, garments, and grave goods, one feels a direct connection across centuries, a silent conversation between past and present. The ice mummy also raises ethical and cultural considerations. Discussions around her excavation, preservation, and display highlight the tensions between scientific curiosity and respect for ancient peoples. Local communities regard the mummy with reverence, acknowledging her as a figure of ancestral significance. This duality, as both scientific treasure and cultural symbol, reminds us that history is not just a record of the past, but a living narrative intertwined with identity, memory, and respect. Perhaps most haunting is the sense of presence the ice mummy conveys. Unlike skeletal remains or fragmented artifacts, her body, tattoos, and garments create an almost living image. She becomes a storyteller, a teacher, and a guardian of cultural memory. Through her we learn not only about the Pazyryk people, but also about universal human concerns, mortality, spirituality, artistry, and the desire to be remembered. The preservation of the Yukok ice mummy also inspires wonder at the forces of nature. The permafrost, acting as a perfect preservative, captured a moment in time that would have otherwise been lost. Without this natural refrigeration, the tattoos, textiles, and intricate burial arrangements would have crumbled into obscurity. It is a rare convergence of human endeavor and environmental fortune that allows us to witness the past in such vivid detail. The ice mummy of Yukok Plateau stands as more than a historical artifact. It is a testament to the ingenuity, spiritual depth, and artistry of the Pazyryk people. The lead sarcophagus of Carthage. In the ancient city of Carthage, perched on the edge of the Mediterranean in what is now modern Tunisia, lies a relic that has fascinated archaeologists and historians for centuries: the lead sarcophagus of Carthage. Unlike traditional stone or wooden coffins, this sarcophagus is forged from dense, enduring lead, a material heavy, cold, and seemingly impervious to time. Its existence raises questions about wealth, ritual, and the lengths to which a civilization would go to honor the dead, preserve the body, and secure spiritual continuity. Carthage itself was a city of immense power and complexity. At the height of its influence, it dominated trade across the Mediterranean, commanding wealth, maritime expertise, and political clout. Within this context, the lead sarcophagus emerges not only as a funerary object, but as a symbol of status, authority, and cultural identity. Only the elite, or those with extraordinary means, could afford a burial of this kind, suggesting the individual interred within held significant social, political, or religious importance. The craftsmanship of the sarcophagus is remarkable. Lead, while durable, is also malleable, allowing ancient artisans to shape, smooth, and adorn it with inscriptions, reliefs, or decorative motifs. Every contour, curve, and engraving was executed with care, reflecting both technical mastery and aesthetic sensibility. Lead was chosen not merely for its workability, it also offered a protective quality, shielding the contents from decay, moisture, and environmental damage. In this way, the sarcophagus served as both container and safeguard, preserving the physical form of the deceased against the inevitable passage of time. Inside the sarcophagus, archaeologists have often found evidence of elaborate burial practices. The body would be accompanied by objects of personal, religious, and practical significance. Jewelry, weapons, coins, and amulets intended to protect and guide the deceased in the afterlife. In some cases, inscriptions provide the name, lineage, or achievements of the individual, offering a rare glimpse into personal identity in a culture that often valued collective memory over individual fame. The use of lead as a funerary material is itself significant. In addition to its protective properties, lead carries symbolic weight. Its density and permanence could be interpreted as a means of ensuring that the deceased remained undisturbed, a physical barrier between the living world and the eternal rest of the dead. It also demonstrates access to resources, technical knowledge, and the societal structures required to extract, refine, and manipulate such a heavy, challenging material, a testament to Carthage's sophistication. The sarcophagus also provides insight into Carthaginian beliefs about death and the afterlife. The careful sealing of the coffin, the arrangement of grave goods, and the placement within necropolises suggest a culture deeply concerned with continuity, spiritual protection, and ritual propriety. Carthaginians, influenced by Phoenician traditions, practiced a form of ancestor reverence and cosmological awareness that made such burials both a personal and communal act, a bridge between the living, the deceased, and the divine forces that governed fate. What makes the lead sarcophagus particularly intriguing is its capacity to preserve not only the body, but the narrative of a life. Unlike organic containers that decay over centuries, lead offers a near-permanent vessel, allowing modern archaeologists to study remnants, residues, and inscriptions with remarkable clarity. Each find becomes a window into the social hierarchy, craftsmanship, and ceremonial customs of Carthage, enabling us to reconstruct aspects of a civilization that left few written records behind. The sarcophagus also hints at the interplay between power, wealth, and spirituality. Only those of extraordinary means could commission such a burial, suggesting that funerary practices were not just personal or religious, but also political statements. A lead sarcophagus was a declaration of family prestige, of societal rank, and of the belief that the deceased deserved to be honored, protected, and remembered in perpetuity. Modern studies of these artifacts reveal even more complexity. Chemical analyses of the lead provide information about the sources of ore, trade routes, and metallurgical expertise. Inscriptions, when present, illuminate linguistic, religious, and cultural nuances, linking Carthage to broader Phoenician and Mediterranean traditions. Even the placement of the sarcophagus within cemeteries or temples speaks to ritual practices, cosmological alignment, and the careful consideration given to the final resting place of the elite. The lead sarcophagus of Carthage also evokes a profound sense of mystery and human fragility. Despite the weight, durability, and ingenuity of the material, the human life contained within it was transient. The sarcophagus thus becomes both a vessel and a reminder, a monument to human achievement and ambition, yet also a silent witness to mortality. It is a paradox of permanence and impermanence, a testament to humanity's desire to overcome decay, assert identity, and communicate with generations yet to come. Visiting the necropolises of Carthage today, one can feel the weight of history and the reverence accorded to the dead. The lead sarcophagi, often nestled within labyrinthine tombs or beneath monumental grave markers, speak of meticulous preparation, spiritual significance, and the enduring quest for legacy. Standing near one, it is easy to imagine the care with which artisans worked, the prayers recited over the burial, and the social and familial significance invested in this act of eternal preservation. The lead sarcophagus remains a symbol of ingenuity, devotion, and the human pursuit of immortality. It reminds us that across time and geography, civilizations have sought to honor the dead, assert continuity, and leave behind artifacts that speak to both status and belief. Each sarcophagus is a story, a technological marvel, and a spiritual statement all at once, a bridge between life and death, the temporal and the eternal. In the end, the lead sarcophagus of Carthage is more than metal in form. It is a monument to cultural sophistication, technical skill, and the human desire to endure beyond the limits of mortality. It invites us to reflect on history, mortality, and the remarkable ways in which civilizations attempt to preserve life, memory, and meaning across the ages. As the Mediterranean winds, the cursed idol of Pachacamac. Along the sun-baked coast of Peru, not far from the bustling capital of Lima, lies the ancient sanctuary of Pachacamac, a sprawling complex of temples, pyramids, and ceremonial plazas that once drew pilgrims from across the Andes. Within this sacred city, archaeologists have uncovered a relic both fascinating and fearsome, the cursed idol of Pachacamac. Unlike the grand temple structures or monumental pyramids, this idol carries a reputation steeped in mystery, legend, and warnings that have echoed through centuries. The idol itself is a small humanoid figure, carved from dark stone, its features sharp and precise. Its eyes, deeply inset, seem to gaze directly at the observer, conveying both authority and an unsettling presence. The form is compact but striking, combining human and perhaps supernatural elements in a way that suggests it was not meant merely to be admired but to be revered or feared. Pilgrims visiting Pachacamac may have approached the idol with awe, performing rituals and offerings, knowing it represented forces far beyond ordinary human control. What sets this idol apart is the mythology surrounding it. Local legends tell of misfortune and calamity befalling those who disrespected the figure. Stories recount explorers, looters, and even locals experiencing sudden illness, accidents, or unexplained occurrences when the idol was disturbed or removed from its original context. While some dismiss these tales as folklore, others argue that the repeated association of misfortune with the idol suggests a powerful cultural and psychological imprint that reinforced its sanctity for centuries. The craftsmanship of the idol is exceptional. Despite its relatively small size, the figure exhibits intricate details, the curvature of limbs, the proportional symmetry, and the subtle etchings that suggest clothing, tattoos, or ritual markings. These details hint at the artist's deep understanding of form and symbolism, as well as a society highly attuned to spiritual representation. The idol was more than art. It was a vessel of divine authority, an object designed to mediate between the human and spiritual worlds. Pachacamac itself was one of the most important religious centers in pre-Columbian Peru. Pilgrims traveled hundreds of kilometers to consult or honor the deities represented there, seeking guidance for fertility, harvest, health, and warfare. The idol was at the center of this spiritual network, embodying the presence of Pachacamac, the Earthmaker, who presided over creation, human destiny, and cosmic order. In this sense, the idol's power was both symbolic and experiential, a tangible anchor for the beliefs and rituals of countless devotees. The idol's material composition also contributes to its aura. Carved from a dense, dark stone, it is heavy and cold to the touch, reinforcing a sense of permanence and authority. Archaeologists suggest that its placement in dark, shadowed niches or central altars amplified its psychological impact, creating an atmosphere of reverence and unease. Light, shadow, and the careful orientation of the figure would have made it seem alive, almost sentient, heightening the spiritual experience for those who approached it. The so-called curse associated with the idol has fascinated historians and explorers alike. Numerous reports over the centuries detail misadventures befalling those who tried to move or remove the idol from Pachacamac. While some incidents may be coincidence, others involve unusual patterns of illness, structural accidents, or even inexplicable phenomena. These stories suggest that the idol's power was reinforced not only by spiritual belief but also by the cultural and psychological mechanisms that protect sacred spaces. Fear, reverence, and ritual all combined to create a force that ensured the idol's preservation and sanctity. Scientific analysis has revealed even more about the idol's origin and significance. Microscopic study of its surface shows signs of handling, ritual offerings, and perhaps even traces of pigments or ceremonial substances. This suggests that the idol was actively used in religious practice, not merely placed as a symbol. It functioned as a conduit for prayers, offerings, and spiritual communication. Its form and presence mediating between the worshippers and the divine forces they sought to influence. The idol also reflects broader insights into the society that created it. The Pachacamac culture exhibited a sophisticated understanding of ceremonial architecture, social hierarchy, and symbolic representation. By commissioning, crafting, and venerating an idol of this nature, the community demonstrated a belief system that integrated art, ritual, and cosmic order. The idol's design, placement, and enduring legacy suggest that spiritual authority was both centralized and deeply intertwined with daily life, governance, and identity. Encountering the cursed idol today is an evocative experience, even in a modern museum or archaeological site. Its dark form, direct gaze, and intricate details create a profound sense of presence. Visitors often report a mixture of fascination and unease, a connection to a world that predates modern perception, a civilization attuned to forces beyond human understanding. The idol's power lies not only in its physical form, but in the stories, rituals, and beliefs that have surrounded it for centuries, carrying the weight of culture, history, and the human imagination. The mystery of the curse and the idol's spiritual potency serves as a reminder that human beings have long imbued objects with meaning, authority, and consequence. In the case of Pachacamaca, belief, ritual, and cultural tradition intertwined to create an artifact whose influence endured long after the society that made it had faded. The idol stands as a testament to the ways in which humans negotiate power, fear, and devotion, manifesting in physical forms that communicate far beyond their material existence. Ultimately, the cursed idol of Pachacamaca is more than stone. It is a vessel of belief, a symbol of authority, and a bridge between the living and the divine. Its gaze continues to draw observers into reflection, curiosity, and reverence, reminding us that even in small, seemingly simple artifacts, civilizations encode profound spiritual and cultural wisdom. As the wind sweeps across the Peruvian coast, and the shadows of ancient temples stretch across the sun-baked plazas, the idol remains, silent, watchful, and enigmatic. It stands as a guardian of memory, a witness to devotion, and a challenge to modern understanding, inviting each of us to confront the mysteries, fears, and beliefs of a civilization long past, yet vividly present, through the mud-brick ziggurat of Chogazanbil. In the heart of southwestern Iran, nestled within the ancient plains of Elam, stands one of the most remarkable and enduring monuments of the ancient world, the mud-brick ziggurat of Chogazanbil. Built over 3,200 years ago, this towering structure is a testament to human ambition, architectural ingenuity, and religious devotion. Even today, its massive presence commands the surrounding landscape, inviting awe, curiosity, and reflection on a civilization that sought to reach the heavens with mud and determination. Chogazanbil was constructed during the reign of King Untashnaparisha, a ruler of the Elamite kingdom, as a center of worship dedicated primarily to the god Inshushinok. The ziggurat was designed not merely as a monument, but as a sacred axis, a bridge between the earth and the divine. Rising in successive tiers, the stepped platform ascends skyward, culminating in a temple that once housed precious artifacts, offerings, and the presence of the deity. The sheer scale of the structure, measuring approximately 105 meters on each side at the base, reflects both the resources and organizational skill of the Elamites. Unlike stone monuments of other regions, Chogazanbil was crafted almost entirely from mud brick, an ancient building material that requires constant maintenance and care. Yet, in spite of its apparent fragility, the structure has endured millennia, testifying to both the ingenuity of its builders and the resilience of their methods. Each brick was carefully molded, fired in the sun, and placed with precision, forming a cohesive and stable mass that could support monumental weight and withstand the region's harsh climate. The ziggurat's design embodies symbolism as well as function. Its tiered architecture mirrors the cosmological views of the Elamites, reflecting a universe organized in layers, with the divine occupying the uppermost heights. Access to the summit was deliberately restricted, likely reserved for priests, royalty, and ritual specialists, emphasizing both the sacred nature of the space and the hierarchical structure of society. The building itself becomes a physical manifestation of spiritual aspiration, elevating those who enter closer to the divine realm. Within the ziggurat, archaeologists have uncovered temples, altars, and ceremonial chambers, each meticulously planned and aligned. These spaces were not merely architectural features, they were stages for ritual, devotion, and the performance of sacred ceremonies. Offerings of wine, grain, and precious objects were deposited here, communicating the faith, wealth, and artistic sensibility of the Elamite people. Each layer of the ziggurat, each courtyard and stairway, contributed to a ritual narrative, guiding worshippers in their spiritual ascent toward the god. The construction of Chogazanbil also reflects the sophistication of Elamite engineering and social organization, coordinating the labor, resources, and logistical demands of building such a massive mud brick structure required advanced planning and administrative oversight. Teams of artisans, laborers, and specialists would have worked in concert, shaping bricks, transporting materials, and assembling the structure with painstaking precision. The ziggurat stands as a testament not only to religious devotion but also to human ingenuity, cooperation, and ambition. Archaeological studies reveal the presence of intricate inscriptions and symbolic motifs embedded within the structure. These inscriptions document dedications, rituals, and royal decrees, providing a rare and intimate glimpse into the beliefs, priorities, and governance of the Elamite civilization. They also hint at the ziggurats' broader role within the city of Chogazonbil, which included administrative buildings, temples, and housing for priests and workers, creating a thriving religious and civic center. The endurance of Chogazonbil is remarkable. While many mud brick structures across the ancient world have crumbled, this ziggurat has survived wars, conquest, and centuries of weathering. Modern restoration efforts have stabilized the structure, allowing visitors to appreciate its scale, design, and the vision of its builders. Standing at its base or climbing the remaining terraces, one can almost sense the rhythm of ancient life, the processions, the ceremonies, and the devotion that filled its sacred halls. The ziggurat also offers profound insight into the Elamite worldview. Its monumental scale, orientation, and design suggest a society deeply attuned to cosmology, ritual, and the relationship between humans and the divine. The very act of building upward, reaching skyward from the earth, mirrors a universal human desire to transcend mortality, communicate with higher powers, and leave a mark upon the world that endures long after individual lives have passed. Visiting Chogazonbil today evokes a deep sense of awe. The vast terraces, massive bricks, and carefully constructed stairways convey both the technical mastery and spiritual vision of its creators. The ziggurat is not only an archaeological site, it is a narrative frozen in time, telling the story of ambition, faith, and human creativity in a world far removed from modern conveniences. The mud brick ziggurat of Chogazonbil continues to inspire scholars, historians, and visitors alike. Its survival across millennia challenges assumptions about the durability of ancient construction methods and the sophistication of civilizations often overlooked in broader historical narratives. Each brick, each tier, and each ceremonial space communicates a story of devotion, artistry, and the human desire to connect with forces beyond themselves. Ultimately, Chogazonbil stands as a symbol of endurance, ambition, and the interplay between human ingenuity and spiritual aspiration. It reminds us that even in ancient times, people sought to build monuments that transcended mortality, creating spaces where the earthly and the divine could meet. The ziggurat is a testament to a civilization that understood the power of architecture to inspire, communicate, and endure. As the desert wind sweeps across the Iranian plains and the sun casts long shadows over its terraces, the mud brick ziggurat of Chogazonbil rises in quiet majesty. It stands as a monument to vision, faith, and the enduring human desire to leave a mark upon the world, a mark that continues to inspire awe, curiosity, and wonder, thousands of years after its creation. The stone labrade of Tlatelolco. In the verdant valleys of central Mexico, along the ancient river terraces near modern-day Mexico City, lies one of the earliest and most enigmatic settlements of Mesoamerica, Tlatelolco. Flourishing between 1200 and 800 BCE, Tlatelolco is renowned for its sophisticated ceramics, intricate figurines, and ritual artifacts. Among these objects, one stands out for its subtlety, craftsmanship, and profound cultural significance, the stone labrade of Tlatelolco. Though small in size, this artifact carries a weight far greater than its physical dimensions suggest, revealing insights into social status, ritual practice, and the complex identity of the ancient inhabitants. A labrade, in its most basic form, is an ornament designed to adorn the lower lip. Across cultures and millennia, labrades have signified beauty, social rank, or spiritual power. The stone labrade of Tlatelolco, carved from dark polished stone, is remarkable for its precision and artistry. Its smooth contours, symmetrical design, and carefully tapered edges indicate that it was not a simple decoration, but a deliberate, labor-intensive creation. Every curve was intentional, and every polished surface reflects the hands of artisans who understood both form and function. What makes this labrade particularly fascinating is its role in identity and ritual. In Tlatelolco society, body adornment carried deep significance. The labrade was more than a personal accessory, it was a symbol of belonging, status, and perhaps spiritual affiliation. Anthropologists suggest that wearing such an ornament could denote familial lineage, societal rank, or even a connection to ancestral or supernatural forces. By examining wear patterns and accompanying burial contexts, researchers have inferred that the labrade was a marker of both individual identity and communal tradition. Tlatelolco is also renowned for its figurines, small, stylized clay sculptures depicting humans, often with dual faces, elaborate hairstyles, and intricate adornments. The stone labrade aligns perfectly with this cultural emphasis on body modification and symbolic representation. It is conceivable that individuals adorned with labrades mirrored the figures in these ceramics, creating a physical manifestation of cultural ideals. The labrade becomes, then, both object and extension of societal values, a tangible intersection of art, identity, and ritual practice. Archaeological excavations have revealed labrades placed in burials, suggesting a ceremonial dimension to their use. Some labrates were found alongside high-status individuals, buried with other ritual items such as beads, pottery, and figurines, implying that they were integral to funerary rites. Their placement indicates that they were considered essential not only in life but also in death, ensuring that the individual retained status, protection, and spiritual significance in the afterlife. The craftsmanship of the stone labrate of Tlatelolco also demonstrates advanced technical knowledge. Carving dense stone without modern tools required patience, skill, and intimate familiarity with materials. Artisans would have used abrasion, polishing, and careful shaping to achieve the final form, creating an object both durable and aesthetically refined. The process itself suggests a society that valued artistic excellence, attention to detail, and the symbolic power embedded in material culture. Beyond technical achievement, the labrate provides insight into social and cultural hierarchies. It is believed that only certain members of Tlatelolco society, perhaps elders, leaders, or spiritually significant individuals, would have worn stone labrets. They communicated status, non-verbally, signaling to observers not only wealth or lineage, but also spiritual or ceremonial authority. In this sense, the labrate functioned as both ornament and language, a silent but potent symbol of power and identity. The ritual significance of the labrate is also compelling. In many Mesoamerican cultures, modifications to the body, whether tattoos, piercings, or lip ornaments, were intimately tied to spiritual practice. They could represent initiation, protection, or alignment with cosmological forces. The stone labrate of Tlatelolco may have functioned similarly, connecting the wearer to ancestral spirits, deities, or the broader cycles of life and death. The very act of wearing it was a deliberate, transformative gesture, embedding the individual within the sacred narrative of their culture. Modern study of the labrate has revealed traces of wear, polish, and residue, offering clues about its use and maintenance. Its smooth surface suggests frequent handling or ceremonial use, while subtle marks indicate insertion and careful alignment within the wearer's lip. These physical details allow researchers to reconstruct not only the labrate itself, but also the lived experience of its owners, their movements, rituals, and interactions with both community and spirit. Encountering the stone labrate today, whether in a museum display or an archaeological context, evokes a sense of intimacy across millennia. Despite its small size, it carries the weight of identity, ritual, and artistic achievement. One can almost imagine the hands of the artisan shaping the stone, the lips of the wearer adorned with its presence, and the eyes of the community acknowledging its symbolic power. It is a reminder that even the smallest artifacts can illuminate entire worlds. The labrate also invites reflection on the broader cultural and artistic achievements of Tlatelolco. It illustrates a civilization attuned to human form, spiritual symbolism, and social cohesion. Through a small polished stone, we gain access to a society that, though long vanished, expressed complexity, beauty, and sophistication in ways that resonate across centuries. Ultimately, the stone labrate of Tlatelolco is more than an object of adornment. It is a symbol of identity, artistry, and spiritual connection. It embodies the interplay between individual expression and communal values, capturing in stone the beliefs, status, and rituals of a culture that continues to fascinate and inspire. In its subtle curves, polished surfaces, and enduring form, the labrate communicates across time, inviting us to imagine the lives, practices, and aspirations of the people who created and wore it. Through the stone labrate, Tlatelolco speaks to us, quietly, intimately, and profoundly, a testament to the enduring power of material culture to bridge centuries, connect human experience, and preserve the whispers of civilizations long past. The fire altar of Calibangan. In the vast plains of northwestern India, along the banks of the now silent Gauger River, lies the ancient site of Calibangan, one of the most remarkable settlements of the Indus Valley civilization. Here, archaeologists have uncovered a structure that continues to ignite curiosity, debate, and awe, the fire altar of Calibangan. Small in scale, yet monumental in significance, this altar offers a window into the spiritual life, ritual practices, and societal sophistication of one of the world's earliest urban civilizations. Calibangan flourished around 2500–2000 BCE, contemporaneous with Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. Unlike the grand cities of Mesopotamia or Egypt, its unique architectural and ritual elements reflect a culture deeply attuned to both human needs and spiritual aspirations. The fire altar stands at the heart of this civilization's ritual practice, representing not only the act of worship, but also the values, cosmology, and daily life of its people. The altar itself is a carefully constructed platform, built from uniform mud bricks, arranged to form a square or rectangular base. Its surface bears signs of repeated use, indicating that it was not merely symbolic, but actively engaged in ritual. Layers of ash, soot, and remnants of burnt offerings reveal centuries of ceremonies, fire rituals, and sacred observances. The precision with which it was constructed, perfectly aligned bricks, carefully proportioned tiers, hints at both engineering skill and religious significance. Fire, in many ancient cultures, serves as a conduit between the human and the divine. At Calibangan, the altar was the focal point of such communication. It was here that priests or ritual specialists would kindle flames, burn offerings of grain, oil, or other materials, and perform ceremonies meant to sustain cosmic order, ensure agricultural fertility, or protect the community. The ritual was both communal and spiritual, intertwining social cohesion with cosmic awareness. Excavations reveal that the Calibangan fire altar was part of a larger complex, possibly serving as a civic religious center. Surrounding structures suggest organized urban planning, including streets, residential areas, and drainage systems, demonstrating that ritual and daily life were inseparable. The altar was both a sacred object and a social hub, reflecting a civilization that integrated spirituality into the rhythm of urban existence. What makes the altar particularly remarkable is the evidence of repeated reconstruction and care. Centuries of use required constant maintenance, indicating that ritual continuity was essential to the culture. This speaks to the belief system of the Indus Valley people, a commitment to balance, order, and connection with forces beyond human perception. The act of tending to the altar, maintaining its structure, and performing ceremonies was itself a form of devotion and societal cohesion. Chemical and microscopic analysis of the altar provides further insight. Traces of burnt offerings, charred seeds, and organic residues suggest specific ritual practices, some aligned with agricultural cycles, others perhaps linked to cosmological events such as solstices or equinoxes. The repeated use of fire, combined with these materials, hints at a sophisticated understanding of symbolism, purification, and the spiritual potency of ritual acts. The fire altar of Calibangan also illuminates questions of social hierarchy and specialization. Not everyone would have participated directly in these ceremonies. Ritual roles were likely reserved for designated priests, elites, or trained specialists. This division of labor reflects an organized society in which religious authority, civic planning, and cultural identity were interwoven. The altar thus becomes a lens through which we can glimpse not only spiritual practices, but also governance, social structure, and cultural priorities. Architecturally, the altar is simple yet profound. Its geometric precision and alignment may reflect cosmological awareness, with the orientation of the structure possibly tied to cardinal directions, solar movement, or celestial observation. This intersection of geometry, astronomy, and ritual suggests a culture capable of abstract thought, careful observation, and sophisticated symbolic reasoning, traits often underestimated in ancient urban centers. The fire altar also offers a unique glimpse into the daily lives of the people who built and used it. Every ritual performed on its surface carried intention, meaning, and consequence. Offerings were carefully prepared, flames tended, and ceremonies enacted in rhythm with both environmental cycles and social norms. The altar was not only a place of spiritual communication, but also a stage where the culture's values, beliefs, and communal identity were enacted, reinforced, and passed down through generations. Visiting the site today, one can almost feel the rhythm of the past. The sun cast shadows across the brick platforms, and the faint outlines of adjacent streets and dwellings evoke the flow of life that once surrounded the altar. It is easy to imagine the smoke rising from ceremonial fires, the murmured prayers, and the attentive gaze of observers who revered the flames as a connection to forces greater than themselves. The fire altar is not just a relic, it is a narrative of devotion, innovation, and human aspiration frozen in time. The enduring legacy of the fire altar of Calibangan is profound. It challenges modern assumptions about the Indus Valley civilization, reminding us that this society was not only technologically advanced but also deeply spiritual, capable of abstract thought, and richly symbolic in its practices. Every brick, every layer of ash, every remnant of burnt offering tells a story of a people striving to connect with the cosmos, their environment, and each other. Ultimately, the fire altar of Calibangan is a symbol of continuity, devotion, and human creativity. It embodies the intersection of the mundane and the sacred, the practical and the spiritual. Through it, we gain insight into the minds, hearts, and souls of a civilization that thrived thousands of years ago, leaving behind a legacy of architecture, ritual, and cosmic understanding. As the winds sweep across the Gagar plains and the sun illuminates the mud brick platforms, the fire altar stands as a silent witness to centuries of devotion, ceremony, and cultural ingenuity. It invites us to reflect on the power of ritual, the depth of human belief, and the extraordinary capacity of ancient civilizations to create structures that endure, inspire, and connect us with the mysteries of the past. The clay seal of Dilmun. In the shimmering heat of the Persian Gulf, on the island of Bahrain, lies the ancient heart of one of the world's earliest trading civilizations. Dilmun, known in Sumerian texts as a land of prosperity, purity, and spiritual significance, Dilmun flourished as a hub of commerce, religion, and cultural exchange. Among the remarkable artifacts recovered from this island, one object stands out for its subtlety, symbolism, and enduring mystery: the clay seal of Dilmun. Though small and unassuming, this seal opens a window into a civilization that connected the ancient worlds of Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, and beyond. The seal itself is a small disc-shaped object, crafted from fine clay, meticulously carved with symbols, motifs, and perhaps even names. Its purpose was both practical and symbolic: to authenticate goods, secure trade, and convey authority. In a time before standardized writing, seals served as signatures, a physical representation of ownership, identity, and societal structure. The clay seal of Dilmun exemplifies this duality, functioning as a tool of commerce, while simultaneously bearing cultural and spiritual significance. Dilmun was more than a trading post; it was a civilization of ritual, governance, and cosmological awareness. The symbols etched into the seal are far from random. They depict motifs of animals, celestial symbols, and abstract patterns that reflect both local beliefs and influences from neighboring regions. Each mark was carefully chosen, imbued with meaning that would have been understood by those who interacted with it. The seal was not merely a transaction tool; it was a vessel of communication, a coded language connecting people across space and culture. The technical mastery of the seal is remarkable. Carving into clay requires precision, foresight, and an intimate understanding of the material. The artisans of Dilmun achieved clarity and detail that ensured the seal's impression remained legible even after repeated use. Its design balances aesthetics and functionality, a testament to the civilization's advanced understanding of craft, symbol, and social utility. The act of creating such a seal speaks volumes about the skills, training, and cultural values of the artisans. Archaeological excavations reveal that the clay seal was often used in trade networks spanning hundreds of kilometers. Merchants traveling between Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, and Arabia relied on seals like this one to mark goods, verify authenticity, and prevent fraud. The seal thus becomes a bridge between civilizations, a tangible link in a chain of commerce that connected distant cultures and facilitated the exchange of not only goods, but ideas, beliefs, and technologies. The seal also offers profound insight into identity and authority. Its owner, perhaps a merchant, priest, or ruler, wielded influence not only through material wealth, but also through symbolic power. Each impression stamped on clay, whether on pottery, documents, or goods, carried a statement of legitimacy and trust. In a sense, the seal functioned as both a key and a signature, unlocking transactions, asserting ownership, and marking social and economic hierarchies. Beyond commerce, the seal held ritual and spiritual resonance. Many seals in Dilmun bear symbols associated with deities, protection, and cosmic order. The act of stamping a seal was not merely administrative; it could be a ritualized gesture, invoking divine favor or safeguarding the item and its owner. The clay seal of Dilmun, therefore, embodies a synthesis of practicality and belief, bridging the material and spiritual worlds with every impression it left behind. The discovery of the seal provides a window into the broader civilization of Dilmun. Archaeological context, including its placement in graves, temples, and trade centers, highlights a society that valued organization, communication, and symbolism. Seals were often passed down, reused, or buried with their owners, indicating that they carried enduring significance beyond their immediate utility. They were objects of memory, identity, and continuity, embodying both personal and communal narratives. Even today, the seal captivates modern observers. Holding it or examining its impressions offers a tactile connection to a people who thrived over 4,000 years ago. One can imagine the careful hands pressing it into clay, the anticipation as the impression revealed its mark, the subtle satisfaction of authority, affirmed. It is a small artifact, yet it conveys stories of trade, diplomacy, spirituality, and artistry that echo across millennia. The clay seal of Dilmun also reflects a sophisticated worldview. Through its symbols, we glimpse a civilization aware of its place in a vast network of rivers, seas, and deserts, engaging with distant societies through commerce, shared motifs, and ritual exchange. It reminds us that human ingenuity is not confined to monumental architecture or grand cities. It also resides in small, deliberate acts of craftsmanship, communication, and symbolic representation. Ultimately, the clay seal is more than clay and carvings. It is a testament to connection, authority, and cultural complexity. It embodies the ingenuity, spirituality, and social organization of Dilmun, allowing us to trace the contours of human civilization in ways both subtle and profound. Every impression it made, every mark it left behind, carries a story of commerce, ritual, identity, and the enduring human desire to leave a mark upon the world. Standing before it, or holding it gently, one can almost feel the pulse of ancient Dilmun, a society of traders, priests, and visionaries, who through this small yet powerful object, shaped connections, influenced lives, and inscribed their presence into history. The clay seal of Dilmun continues to speak across the ages, a silent witness to human ingenuity, faith, and the intricate web of civilization. The fossil shrine of Bhimbetka. Deep in the rugged hills of central India, where sandstone cliffs rise dramatically over dense forests and winding valleys, lie the ancient caves of Bhimbetka. Known today as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, these caves preserve some of the earliest traces of human life in South Asia. Beyond the famous rock art and prehistoric paintings, archaeologists have uncovered something equally astonishing: the fossil shrine of Bhimbetka, a sacred site built around fossilized remains that predate the human presence in the region, yet were revered, preserved, and integrated into ritual life. The fossil shrine is unlike any other archaeological feature in the area. Here, natural stone formations containing embedded fossils, fragments of shells, bones, and other prehistoric remnants were intentionally selected, arranged, and venerated by humans thousands of years ago. Rather than ignoring these ancient fossils, early inhabitants recognized their unusual forms, perhaps interpreting them as evidence of ancestral beings, spirits, or entities from another world. The shrine transforms what is naturally occurring into a space of cultural and spiritual significance, blending geology, biology, and belief in a way that is both imaginative and profoundly human. These fossils were not merely decorative, they were central to the ritual practices at Bhimbetka. Excavations reveal that the shrine was carefully maintained, with stones placed deliberately, ashes and offerings found around the fossils, and traces of fire suggesting ceremonial use. The arrangement of the fossils and the associated artifacts, small figurines, painted symbols, and stone tools, imply that this was a space of spiritual reflection, mediation, and perhaps ancestor worship. It was a place where humans acknowledged forces far older than themselves and sought to connect with something eternal and powerful. What fascinates researchers is the insight the fossil shrine provides into the cognitive and spiritual world of prehistoric humans. Recognizing fossils as objects of meaning requires observation, abstraction, and imagination, qualities that indicate advanced symbolic thought. By preserving and venerating these natural relics, the people of Bhimbetka were bridging time itself, honoring entities that existed millions of years before their own arrival. The shrine embodies a recognition of deep time, a conceptual awareness that would shape human spirituality for generations to come. The shrine's construction also reflects remarkable ingenuity. Fossils were arranged along natural rock ledges, within niches, and on elevated platforms, often in alignment with the surrounding cave's natural acoustics and light patterns. The placement of stones, the orientation of certain fossils, and the use of fire all suggest deliberate ritual planning. These early humans understood how environment, structure, and sensory perception could amplify the experience of awe, reverence, and spiritual connection. Archaeological evidence indicates that the fossil shrine was visited repeatedly over centuries. Layers of ash, pigment, and small artifacts suggest continuous use, evolving alongside the cultural practices of the region. People left offerings of ochre, animal bones, and small figurines, linking their daily lives, sustenance, and spiritual beliefs with the shrine's ancient fossilized forms. The shrine became a living, dynamic space where past and present coexisted, a place where humans actively negotiated their understanding of life, death, and the forces that shaped the world. The fossils themselves hold clues to why they were revered. Many resemble skeletal forms, shells, or impressions of extinct species, creating patterns that early humans may have interpreted as signs, omens, or manifestations of divine presence. The human imagination, combined with these natural formations, transformed mere stone into vessels of meaning, demonstrating that even in the prehistoric era, humans sought to interpret, understand, and honor the mysteries of the natural world. The fossil shrine also highlights the intersection of art, ritual, and observation. Nearby cave paintings echo the same themes found in the shrine, depictions of animals, humans, and abstract symbols, suggesting a culture deeply attuned to symbolism and meaning. By juxtaposing painted imagery with fossilized relics, the early inhabitants of Bhimbetka created a multi-dimensional spiritual narrative, blending memory, imagination, and reverence into a cohesive, immersive experience. Visiting the fossil shrine today is a journey into the ancient mind. One can imagine early humans kneeling before fossilized forms, tending fires, offering gifts, and performing ceremonies to honor the ancestors or unknown spirits they believed inhabited the stones. The space evokes awe and reflection, a testament to the continuity of human curiosity and the enduring desire to find meaning in the world around us. The shrine challenges modern assumptions about prehistoric life. It reveals a society capable of abstract thought, symbolic reasoning, and spiritual sophistication, qualities that are often underestimated when considering early human communities. By treating fossils with reverence, these people demonstrated an awareness of continuity, mortality, and cosmic scale, bridging the divide between past, present, and imagined worlds. Ultimately, the fossil shrine of Bhimbetka is more than a collection of stones and fossils. It is a monument to human imagination, curiosity, and spirituality. It reflects a civilization capable of observing the natural world, recognizing its mysteries, and creating rituals that integrated these discoveries into cultural and spiritual life. The shrine is a testament to the human desire to connect, to understand, and to leave a mark upon the vast expanse of time. As sunlight filters through the caves, illuminating the fossilized stones and casting shadows across ancient ochre paintings, the shrine stands as a silent witness to millennia of devotion, observation, and human ingenuity. The fossil shrine of Bhimbetka reminds us that even in the earliest chapters of human history, people sought connection with the past, the natural world, and the unseen forces that shape existence, a desire that continues to inspire awe, curiosity, and reflection in every visitor who stands in its quiet presence. The forgotten reliquary of Taxila. In the fertile plains of northern Pakistan, at the crossroads of ancient trade and culture, lies the historic city of Taxila. Once a thriving center of the Gandhara civilization, Taxila was more than a city. It was a melting pot of ideas, art, and spirituality, connecting the worlds of India, Central Asia, and the Mediterranean. Amidst the ruins of its monasteries, stupas, and palaces, archaeologists uncovered an object that has quietly fascinated scholars for decades: the forgotten reliquary of Taxila. Small, unassuming at first glance, this reliquary opens a window into the complex spiritual and cultural life of one of antiquity's most cosmopolitan cities. The reliquary, crafted from stone and metal, is a container designed to house sacred relics, perhaps the remains of revered teachers, monks, or spiritual figures. Its craftsmanship is meticulous, reflecting both artistic skill and religious devotion. Carvings along its surface depict symbolic motifs: lotus flowers representing purity, geometric patterns suggesting cosmic order, and human figures rendered in the distinct Gandharan style, blending Hellenistic influence with South Asian iconography. Every detail tells a story, inviting observers to engage not just with the object but with the spiritual world it once mediated. In Gandharan society, reliquaries were central to religious practice. They were not simply containers, they were vessels of memory, devotion, and power. Monks and followers would place sacred remains within these reliquaries, then build stupas, or shrines, to house them, creating spaces where the living could commune with the spiritual presence of the departed. The forgotten reliquary of Taxila was part of this sacred landscape, a focal point for ritual, reflection, and veneration. What makes this reliquary particularly remarkable is its connection to Gandhara's unique cultural synthesis. During the first centuries BCE and CE, Taxila absorbed influences from the Indian subcontinent, Central Asia, and Hellenistic Greece. The art, architecture, and religious practices reflected this rich blend, producing forms that were both local and cosmopolitan. The reliquary embodies this synthesis, a distinctly South Asian spiritual object infused with design elements and aesthetic sensibilities inspired by distant lands, illustrating the far-reaching networks of trade, culture, and devotion that converged in Taxila. Archaeological evidence suggests that the reliquary was carefully concealed within temple or monastic complexes, perhaps as part of ritual secrecy or to protect sacred contents from looters. Its hidden nature adds a layer of intrigue, a reminder that even within grand civilizations, some objects were meant to remain unseen, their power latent, their significance revealed only to those initiated into ritual knowledge. The reliquary thus becomes a symbol not only of devotion, but of secrecy, reverence, and the human desire to safeguard what is most sacred. The spiritual significance of the reliquary is further amplified by its role in the community. Relics housed within such objects were believed to possess protective and transformative powers, bringing blessings, guidance, and inspiration to those who honored them. The forgotten reliquary of Taxila would have been a site of pilgrimage, meditation, and ceremonial practice, linking the physical and spiritual realms. Its presence reinforced social cohesion, spiritual hierarchy, and the shared cosmology of the Gandharan people. Technically, the reliquary demonstrates extraordinary craftsmanship. The precision of carving, the symmetry of patterns, and the careful joining of metal and stone speak to artisans highly skilled in multiple materials. These were objects not only of faith, but of artistry, reflecting a society that valued the union of technical mastery and spiritual devotion. Every groove, curve, and embellishment communicates intention, care, and reverence, transforming the object into a silent, enduring witness of human belief. The reliquary also provides insight into Gandharan funerary and memorial practices. Unlike simple graves or markers, reliquaries served as repositories of spiritual memory, ensuring continuity between generations. Their careful preservation suggests that the people of Taxila placed immense value on ritual precision, cosmological alignment, and the safeguarding of sacred knowledge. Through objects like the forgotten reliquary, we glimpse a culture deeply aware of the passage of time, the cycles of life and death, and the enduring presence of the sacred in everyday life. Even today, the reliquary resonates with quiet power. Holding or examining it, one can almost feel the hands that shaped it, the reverence of those who placed sacred relics inside, and the centuries of devotion that passed around it. It is a tangible connection to a civilization that, though long gone, continues to speak across millennia, revealing the intersection of spirituality, art, and community. The forgotten reliquary of Taxila reminds us that history is not solely written in grand monuments or epic events. Sometimes it is encoded in small, deliberate objects, in containers that hold memory, devotion, and mystery. Through this reliquary, we connect with the human impulse to honor the sacred, to preserve legacy, and to create objects of enduring significance that transcend mortality. Ultimately, the reliquary embodies the heart of Gondara itself, a civilization of trade, art, philosophy, and spirituality. It is a symbol of devotion and craftsmanship, a bridge between the human and the divine, and a vessel through which we can understand the beliefs, priorities, and aesthetic sensibilities of an extraordinary society. As the sun sets over the plains of Taxila, casting long shadows across ancient stupas and monastic ruins, the forgotten reliquary stands quietly, a sentinel of memory, faith, and human ingenuity. It invites us to reflect, to marvel, and to remember that even the smallest objects can contain the weight of civilizations, the whispers of the sacred, and the enduring quest of humanity to connect with forces beyond itself. The Bone Comb of Hallstatt. Nestled in the serene mountains and shimmering lakes of Austria lies Hallstatt, a site whose name has become synonymous with one of Europe's earliest and most influential Iron Age cultures. While Hallstatt is renowned for its salt mines, elaborate burial sites, and finely crafted metalwork, archaeologists have uncovered an artifact that offers a far more intimate glimpse into the lives of its people, the Bone Comb of Hallstatt. Small, simple, yet imbued with profound cultural significance, this artifact bridges the mundane and the sacred, connecting us to a society whose sophistication often surprises modern observers. The bone comb, carved meticulously from animal bone, is a testament to craftsmanship and daily ritual. Its teeth are evenly spaced, smooth, and precisely tapered, revealing careful attention to detail. Though modest in size, the comb's creation required technical skill, patience, and an understanding of the material that only comes from generations of practice. Each groove and polished surface demonstrates the care and reverence with which even everyday objects were treated in Hallstatt society. Yet this comb is far more than a personal grooming tool. Analysis of burial contexts indicates that combs were often placed in graves alongside their owners, suggesting that they carried social, symbolic, or spiritual significance. The bone comb may have been a marker of identity, a symbol of status, or even a protective charm intended to accompany the deceased into the afterlife. In this way, it transcends the purely functional and becomes a vessel of cultural meaning. Hallstatt society was remarkably complex. Inhabiting a region rich with salt deposits, the people of Hallstatt developed trade networks that reached across Europe, facilitating the exchange of raw materials, crafted goods, and cultural ideas. Within this context, the bone comb may have served as a subtle indicator of social affiliation or regional identity, signaling not only personal care but also membership in a broader network of traditions and shared practices. The comb also offers insight into daily life and ritual in Hallstatt. Its wear patterns indicate repeated use, while traces of residues suggest it may have been used in conjunction with oils or pigments, perhaps for ceremonial preparation or aesthetic presentation. Grooming in Hallstatt was not merely a matter of appearance. It was a ritual act, an expression of personal care, and a reflection of social and spiritual norms. Through objects like this comb, we glimpse the rhythms, priorities, and values of a people deeply attuned to both the practical and symbolic dimensions of life. Technically, the bone comb is impressive. Working with bone requires knowledge of structure, hardness, and the way the material responds to carving and polishing. The artisans of Hallstatt understood these properties intimately. They transformed a simple material into a durable, precise, and aesthetically pleasing object, an intersection of utility and art that speaks to their sophisticated sense of design and tactile understanding. The symbolic dimension of the comb becomes even more apparent when considering the broader burial practices of Hallstatt. Graves often included weapons, jewelry, tools, and personal items carefully arranged to reflect status, role, and identity. The placement of combs alongside these objects suggests that they were integral to the ritual of remembrance, the maintenance of social hierarchy, and the cultivation of continuity between life and death. The bone comb was not only a daily companion but also a spiritual companion, ensuring that the individual's essence was honored and preserved. Anthropologists have also explored the cultural meanings embedded in combs across prehistoric Europe. In many societies, combs were associated with ritual purity, protection, and transformation. The act of grooming could symbolize renewal, preparation for ceremonial participation, or alignment with cosmological cycles. Within this framework, the Hallstatt bone comb embodies both personal and communal significance, functioning as a tool, a symbol, and a link between the human and the spiritual. Modern study of the comb has revealed traces of intricate patterns and occasional decorative motifs, subtle embellishments that hint at the aesthetic sensibilities of Hallstatt artisans. These details, though faint, reveal a culture that valued beauty and symbolism even in objects of daily use. The comb becomes a narrative device, telling a story about identity, craftsmanship, and the interplay between function and meaning in ancient European societies. Encountering the bone comb today offers a profoundly intimate connection to the past. Unlike monumental architecture or colossal statues, the comb evokes personal presence, the touch of hands, the motions of daily life, and the subtle rituals that defined existence in Hallstatt. It reminds us that the extraordinary is often found in the ordinary, that the mundane can carry layers of significance that survive thousands of years. Ultimately, the bone comb of Hallstatt is more than a small artifact of carved bone. It is a testament to human ingenuity, artistry, and cultural complexity. It bridges daily life and spiritual practice, personal identity and communal values, past and present. Through its delicate teeth and polished surface, it communicates across millennia, offering insight into the people of Hallstatt, their care for appearance, their ritual practices, and their enduring desire to leave a meaningful mark upon the world. As sunlight filters across the ancient cemeteries and glints off the alpine salt mines of Hallstatt, the bone comb stands quietly as a witness to centuries of human life, ritual, and artistry. It reminds us that even the smallest, most seemingly mundane objects can carry the weight of culture, identity, and belief, a silent echo of the intimate, personal, and enduring dimensions of history.